Just so everybody knows, in case I need to wind up looking around being confused a tiny bit, it's because I'm confused a tiny bit. Don't worry. It's not you, it's me. OBS, my streaming software, updated slightly if anybody cares, and now I'm able to monitor my YouTube stuff. Not the chat, unfortunately. I don't know why that's not working. But most of the YouTube stuff I can now monitor from within OBS. So I have fewer windows open on my secondary monitor. So hopefully things will go a little smoother. Unless things just don't go more smoothly. That is also possible. Things could be rougher around the edges. Who knows? Things can happen. Should be fine, though. Anyway. Here we go. All right, so we have we just dealt with the with first of all learning Imperio. Actually, let's see about our spell lists. Yeah, no, we're good. Yeah. Yeah, let's go up to deal with Natty's issue. Natty's got a problem, presumably because her mother, her professor of a mother, found out that we were into all manner of disaster-making shenanigans, highly dangerous shenanigans, which involved the hurtling of terrible curses in our direction, us 15-year-old children. Oh man, I have to say, just how unbelievably dangerous being at Hogwarts is, especially if you're anywhere even close to a protagonist. I mean, look, I don't know if this is if this should be understood as sort of the standard. Something on the other side of that wall, that's what it is. I think. Like, I have to assume this isn't like the standard. Bye, Peeves. I have to assume this isn't the standard experience for a Hogwarts student. I should assume that your average Hogwarts student just, shows up and goes to class and learns about some magic and nothing particularly horrendous happens. But I don't know. Between what we're seeing here and what we see throughout the actual Harry Potter book series, yeah, it's a hell of an adventure even for your sort of background students, though to a significantly lesser degree, I suppose. Just saying.
You wanted to speak with me, Mother? I had hoped.
I don't know if it's a school I would send my kids to under these conditions, that's all I'm saying.
Your message mentioned your concern about an unusual creature that was spotted in the woods near Hogsmeade. That could have been anything.
You know what it was, Natsai.
I am allowed to leave the castle. I am always careful, Mother.
Careful? Officer Singer disagrees. She sent me an owl telling me that you have been trying to collect evidence of some kind against dark wizards. She berated me for not keeping a closer eye on you, and she is right. I do not want you visiting Hogsmeade for the near future.
But Mother!
My
really?
little gazelle, you are well-intentioned, but you must not meddle in the affairs of dangerous people.
If someone had meddled in Matabeleland, Father would still be with us.
I must get to class. Perhaps your friend can get you to listen to reason.
So frustrating. She never listens to me.
She called you her little gazelle. Is that a term of endearment where you're from?
It is specific to me. I am the unusual creature in Hogsmeade she mentioned. Self-transfiguration is not taught at Hogwarts. So I am gently discouraged from practicing it.
Gently, huh? That didn't seem too gentle.
However, I am an animagus. And it is in my gazelle form that I have been able to wander the Highlands rather freely until now. Much to my mother's chagrin. That is how I managed to spy on Rookwood and Harlow.
Cool.
Were you born an animagus? Or did you learn to become one?
Animagi are not born. The process is quite elaborate. It involves holding a mandrake leaf in one's mouth for an entire month.
Yeah, like a druid,
then
more or less.
placing the leaf in a
D&D
crystal
druid.
vial so that it is imbued with moonlight. Then adding one of your own hairs.
Kind
and
of.
that is just the beginning. Self-transfiguration is common among students at Wagadu. But Professor Weasley
I mean,
considers it much too dangerous to teach at Hogwarts.
druids, at least in the D&D context, can choose from an array of wild shapes. It's not just they have one animal form that they can take on. Animagi, as I understand it, can only ever specifically turn into one creature. Although she may clarify that here. Right? This dialogue option may clarify some of that. But I believe you can only turn into not just one type of creature, but one creature in particular. If I'm not terribly mistaken. But yeah, it is a really classic witches and wizards kind of magic trope, both in European folklore, but also sort of around the world. Oh, speaking of animal type creatures, yeah, more Golden Compass demons. I'm not as familiar with Golden Compass, but anyway, speaking of animal like creatures, Saoirse drew this at some point. This is a butterfly, and I love it. It's adorable. This is the butterfly that she imagines the caterpillars that dwell in the bushes outside will metamorphosize into. Anyway, I think it's cute. All right, let's see if we can clarify some of this.
What form your animagus will take?
Oh no, a person's animagus form is determined by
there
their
you go.
personality. My mother is convinced that
It's a little
my
bit of a
form is
spirit
gazelle
animal kind of thing too.
because I adapt well to any situation. I believe it is because I can sense danger and keep my wits about me.
Also, in case my movement around the screen is any indicator, or any hint at the matter, I did manage to get a new chair. As you may have seen over the weekend, especially if you're in Discord, I was complaining significantly. Because last week my old desk chair, my nice one, broke. The base basically shattered, and it was nearly unusable. So I did wind up getting a new one. I have got a new one. I'm sitting in it. It's pretty nice. That said, if you do want to help sort of offset the cost of that, desk chairs are not cheap, even the relatively affordable ones, which this was relatively affordable, to be fair. But not cheap. So if you'd like to help offset that cost, I do definitely appreciate anything that you can. Right down there, ko-fi.com/Professor McCoy. I do greatly appreciate it because, sudden, unexpected expenses like, oh no, my chair broke from out from under my butt. That's kind of an issue, and unfortunately, it was something that I needed to solve right away, and I couldn't wait for any kind of assistance from you guys, from the channel, or even realistically, I couldn't even wait until Black Friday because I couldn't sit at my desk. It was quite an issue. Anyway. Let's see.
How does it feel to transform into an animal?
Well, the first time, it can be a bit unnerving. I felt a kind of searing pain and a strong double heartbeat. But it gets easier the more you do it. I no longer feel any pain, and I must say, I find a sense of comfort in the double heartbeat. And I love being able to view the world from a different perspective.
Cool. It raises questions like the old Serlian what is it like to be a bat question, right? It's a fascinating case. If you had the fully functioning mind of a human being in the body of an animal, it's not exactly perfectly clear what that would mean, because the sub-rational aspects of your mind are hilomorphically tied to, let's go with that, hilomorphically tied to your body in particular. And so the question of inhabiting, the mind inhabiting a different body is kind of a Gnostic thing, simply by nature. But I don't quite know how that would feel, if it could even feel. Right? It would have to be a dramatic difference, as best we can understand how the soul and body interrelate. It would be more than simply a purely human mind with different particular physical sensations. It would experience the world in a very fundamentally different way. Even it would have to have different, even things like emotions and sensations would be fundamentally different. And the mind aligning to it would be very strange. It would require a kind of malleability to the rational part of our souls. It would require something like magic to conform those things together, I think. I don't think that's naturally possible, naturally in the sense of in accordance with our nature, because our nature is in large part determined by our humanity, or by our corporeality. No thanks that I would do what you already do. If I wait. Okay, wait. If you became a giraffe, you wouldn't be a person. Yes, but this is stipulating that you would be a person with the subrational parts associated with a giraffe, right? And again, this is if you're not familiar with Aristotle's model of the soul, I think that it's probably the most useful to illustrate this. There are different parts of ourselves, different parts of our souls, which correspond to different physical parts of ourselves. Right? The appetites and the desires, roughly speaking, if we're to sort of update this to modern terminology, the appetites and the desires correspond to our sort of distributed nervous system. Right? They correspond roughly to those parts of our nervous system which have to do with pleasure and pain, that have to do with hunger, thirst, those sorts of things. The animate parts of the passionate parts of ourselves, the irascible appetites, let's say, are associated with parts of our higher nervous system, our brain, but it's still very physical, right? So our desires, our passions, our anger, our emotions, I said passions already, that stuff is still very physical, but it's something that interacts directly with the rational abstract mind. Now, our reason, our abstract consciousness, so to speak, our distinctively human consciousness, has no physical corresponding part, not in particular. And so it is purely abstract, it is purely non-physical, it is purely formal. And being purely formal, it could, in theory, be sort of attached to any other parts of the soul or of a soul. And so this is the interesting part, what I've talked about before, back years ago at this point, when I was streaming Mass Effect, which is a great job of treating the sort of differences between different rational or sapient species. I speculate that if there were other rational animals, that they would share the same specific difference. Right? They would still be rational animals, and so they would be human in the metaphysically relevant sense, even though the lower parts of their souls are different. My analogy I usually use for this is, say, the distinction between for instance, this thing, right? This thing that I'm holding in my hand, which is a codex, right? a book of a particular format, and an ebook that is also C.S. Lewis's The Abolition of Man. They are the same book with completely different material causes, and even, to some degree, substantially different formal causes, except for the content. Right? The formal causes of the book include things like specific page numbers, and so it is it's of a different genus, roughly speaking, but it's the same species. Now, I as far as I understand, as far as I know, Aristotle hadn't come up with a model like this. Aquinas hadn't come up with a model like this. In fact, it may be, I'm not convinced this is even a coherent model within a sort of Aristotelian Thomistic framework, but I think that it works, and I think it might be the only way of getting, of explaining things like books in different formats, for instance, or different biological species that are all sapient, or all rational animals, that are the same species from a metaphysical standpoint. Now, this has all sorts of fascinating issues, fascinating consequences for things like soteriology, things like sacramental theology, yada yada yada. Later, another time. That's enough for the moment, I think, because again, we can relate it back to here, that a rational gazelle is the same metaphysical species because it's rational. And that rational part characterizes and recontextualizes all of the lower parts of the soul. And so those are different parts, but it makes up the same whole, the same union. And yeah, now that what you said there, I would do what you would already do if I were you. That's true if you were me. But if you identically you and your rational soul had the physical characteristics, all of the relevant physical characteristics of me, you would be different. You would be accidentally different in significant ways, but essentially the same as you are now. You would be numerically identical to yourself, so to speak. So again, this is a really complex issue, and I don't know if it's even, strictly speaking, metaphysically coherent, but whether that's my formulation or just the idea of shape-changing in this significant way, or in general. But it's a fascinating little topic of discussion, which again, like, I would love if I were. This tells me here. Let me put it this way. This tells me about myself that I am absolutely in the right line of work. Because if I were a wizard in the Harry Potter universe, I would still be a metaphysician. I might be a bit of an ethicist too. But I'd be doing the exact same thing that I'm doing now. I would be doing metaphysics of magic. Because it raises so many fascinating questions that are presumably answerable. And so again, I'd be doing exactly what I'm doing now. That is exploring and teaching about advanced philosophical topics, just with a different realm of metaphysical data to draw upon. So I love what I do, and even in a world where there were like magic and stuff, I'd still be doing this. I'd probably be doing it in a D&D setting too. I can't see myself as an adventurer. No way. No way. I'm not an adventurer now. I could be. I'm not. Oh gosh. So yeah. Thanks. Says you're in the right line of work because I'm literally here asking you questions. Well, I mean, yeah. Like, I enjoyed this. I enjoyed this kind of thing. And you'll also note that it's been, what, 10 minutes that we've been sitting here standing at this very specific question? In other words, if you come to my streams looking for gameplay, I mean, you get a little bit, but overall, you're coming to the wrong place. Corey. Hi, Corey. Welcome. Corey says, good thing it's recorded. I came in during the middle. I have no idea. Yeah, go ahead back. What I always do for that sort of thing is I'll just like listen. I'll go back a little bit, and I'll just listen at 1.5 or 2 times speed. Although I talk quickly, maybe don't, but give worth a shot. I'll listen at an increased speed sort of thing, and then I'll once it catches up, it slows itself down. But then if I gotta get up to use the bathroom, get up to refill my get another cup of coffee or whatever, I just hit pause. And then it'll just go back to 1.5 times speed until I'm caught up. It's nice. It works fine. I mean, I'm behind the chat a little bit, but, it works fine. Besides, it lets you catch up and keep up with everything that's going on without having to worry about, going to pee while I'm doing, boring stuff. All right.
Now
Anyway.
the nickname makes sense.
Gazelle.
What an extraordinary ability to have.
It is. I love transforming, but Mother is less enthusiastic about it. She says that no creature, especially one as rare as a gazelle, should be bounding about where poaching has become so prevalent.
I mean, it's a non-magical creature.
She
Do they poach
claims
those?
that she has foreseen tragedy befall me in my gazelle form. But she has used her sight to control me too many times. I no longer believe it.
That's really stupid, Natty. That's not smart. She's magical foresight. That does seem like the kind of thing to pay some attention to, I would think. If you could choose an animagus form, what would you choose? Ooh, interesting question. Something that flies. Gotta be something with wings. Maybe a hawk or something like that. I don't know about bird of prey. I don't know if I have the personality for it. Something like that. Something that flies. Because again, even like I've talked about this before, but there's that neat little personality type quiz thing from originally, as best I can find it, it's from My American Life, a sort of NPR show. Like it was basically a podcast before there were podcasts. Write some of these things down so I can put them in the description. So the question goes like this: if you could choose between either of 2 superpowers, you can have one or the other. You're the only one who gets the choice. But you get one of these 2 superpowers: flight or invisibility. What would you choose? And this can actually tell you a lot about your personality. This can tell you a lot about your sort of prioritization. It talks a lot about introversion versus extroversion. It talks about nefariousness versus gregariousness, all that kind of stuff. Flight every time for no other reason than it is the funnest thing that I can possibly imagine. So yeah, something like that. I absolutely choose it for the experience rather than practicality. Because I mean, there's not that much practicality to turning into an animal in the present world. And yeah, I can get from place to place, I guess, but I can do that more quickly in a car. And if you're a wizard, you can do that more quickly by apparating. Yeah, fine, I could spy on people, I guess, but you can do that as a wizard with disillusionment charm. You can become semi-transparent. Um, or as a human, you can do that digitally, right? That kind of thing. Owl would blend into the postal service. That is true. That is actually a good point. Yeah, an owl might actually be a really good choice in the wizarding context. That's true. Plus, can't beat night vision. Can't beat night vision. And owls are cool. I like owls. No thanks. That'd be invisibility because of the exploit power. But if the experience was the point, I'd pick bonsai. You'd pick a like a bonsai, like a tree, like a tiny tree. That's not even an animal. That doesn't count. I don't think you can do that. Can you? I don't think you can. Let me write some things down so I don't forget. So Aristotle on the soul. Um, um, Alien souls. I'll know what I'm talking about. And yeah, yeah. I don't think you could. I don't think. I don't think trees count. I don't think that works. But I don't know. Maybe. I don't. I don't make the rules. Presumably, J.K. Rowling makes the rules. But you know, when she has access to Twitter, those rules can change all the time. Um. And then flight versus invisibility. Yeah, the original show I'm drawing that from was with John Hodgman. The guy who went on to be part of the Daily Show, but that was before the Daily Show even existed. This was in like actually I think it might have existed, but I don't think it was corresponded yet because I think this was in like 2000 or something, maybe 2001. It was a long time ago. It's available online. You can access it through NPR. But now I will say, oh god, getting back to the philosophy of it, that the metaphysics of it, the sort of the nature of souls. Transfiguring into an animal is one thing, because all you're doing there is you're adding on the rational part to an already extant sensitive and vegetative part. Transfiguring into a plant is a very odd case, because plants don't have experience or sensation. And so there's very clearly nothing that it's like to be a plant, because they don't have qualia in the sort of philosophy of mind sense. And so to fill in anything like conscious experience for a plant, it would either be you have no conscious experience whatsoever, and so it's very meditative in that sense, perhaps, or you'd have to fill in, like supernaturally fill in qualia. That might be interesting. That's again an interesting thing to consider that raises somehow raises even more philosophical issues. What? You're disagreeing plants have experience? What do you mean plants have experience? Okay, first of all, according to Aristotle, no. They just don't. That's what it means to be a plant. If a plant has experience, that means that it is an animal. Like he would, I think, have to qualify things like Venus flytraps as animals. As very basic animals, like on level of a sea slug or something like that, or corals. I think he would probably have to qualify as animals rather than plants. He also did qualify, I think, things like some shellfish as plants, because he didn't know that they had sensation or that they could auto-locomote. If I'm not mistaken, I haven't read Aristotle's biology in like 10 years or so I'm not quite sure where the lines there are, but I do think that if it did have auto-locomotion and or sensation, he would have to qualify it as an animal. But again, if you have corrections to this, or I mean, again, we know more about physical biology than Aristotle did, so maybe we can correct Aristotle on some of these things. That's fine. Maybe we have to draw our lines in different places, perhaps.
She's concerned for your safety. It may be best for you to stay away from Hogsmeade for now.
That may be safe, but I do not believe that it would be best. Do you? You could have fled the moment you discovered that Rookwood, Harlow, and Randrock were after you, but you did not. I choose to act as you have. I must deal with Rookwood and Harlow, not hide from them. My mother cannot know where I am all the time. Thank you for being here during that rather awkward conversation.
That was it? There was no more to the quest than that? Okay, fine, I guess. Alright, cool. I mean, okay, no thanks says in Jesus' model, whales are fish and mustard is a tree. I don't actually know what's wrong with mustard being a tree. Is that not accurate? Okay, Poppy next. I thought that was accurate. I mean, maybe not. Maybe I could be wrong. Let's see if we have any more demiguise statues to turn in. I think we might. Is that actually not right? I thought mustard was technically a tree. I don't know, maybe. I'm open to being wrong about that. But whales being fish actually makes perfect sense. Just because of it. Okay, so most of the ancient worlds did not use. What's the term? It's a genetic taxonomy, but I mean genetic, or genealogical. That's it. Taxonomy. They used we might broadly call environmental taxonomy. Right. So things that live primarily in the water were fish. And that's what makes something a fish. That's what defines a fish. And so alligators are fish, beaver are fish, and you still see this in like Catholic fasting rules. Revelio. Right? This is why Catholics can eat beaver or alligator on a Friday. What? Heard that key. Where'd it go? Where'd that bastard go? I heard it. What's this? Aha!
Lumos.
Oh, okay. It's in the Great Hall. That's pretty far. All right. All the way on the other side of the Great Hall. Yeah, Catholics can eat beavers and alligators on Friday. Now, in part, it's a special dispensation. Right? It is. This was determined by a. I think it was by the Pope when there were a lot of Catholic colonists in Canada, especially, and then alligators. I think was later than that, where the same issue arose, but in Louisiana.
Lumos.
Where'd it go? Oh, okay. Okay. But yeah, it is an environmental or something like that kind of taxonomy rather than a genetic or a genealogical taxonomy. And the same applies to types of creatures more generally. There's the key. Let's find it. Let's chase it. Where'd it go? Little bastard. What? Oh, there it is. Okay. What was the other one? So funny enough, in terms of, oops, wrong button. In terms of what you can eat on Fridays, because what counts as what, I thought for a good long time that you could eat poultry on Fridays. The reason for this being that I had assumed, not exactly why I assumed this or where I heard this, but I heard this somewhere, or I made the connection somehow, that the what creatures you could eat in terms of a fast was determined by the day of creation, right? And so those things that swim in the seas and fly through the air were the sixth day. No, sorry, the fifth day. But those creatures would walk on the land, like ourselves and like normal land animals. Those were created on the sixth day. And so I assumed, for some reason, that was the dividing line in terms of acceptability of what you could eat during fasting. That's 9 plus 7 is 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. That's 8. That means it's a spider. 8, 24. This one. There. Oh, okay. 11 plus 0, so 11. That's 13, so 3 is the three-headed hydromabob. There. That'll do. What about the second order of Genesis? I mean, good question. I quite frankly, to be perfectly honest, I didn't think this through that well. I first noticed this when I was in high school, when I thought I was way smarter than I am. So I came across what I thought was a really interesting little tidbit of knowledge. Didn't take the time to check with anyone or with anything, and just went, I figured out something really cool, and then just kind of went with it for a few years. So that was on me. That was me not thinking too carefully. Genesis has two different orders, but not about the days of creation or the things created on the days. It's more so. Oh gosh, what's the difference? It is about the ordering of
now, Demi guys.
the ordering of the creation of man and the commands to do human things. Right, broadly speaking, it's all in the last day. Essentially, are the differences. The differences all happen between days 6 and 7. Up until then, they're I don't know if they're roughly the same or exactly the same, but they're very close to the same. What is going on? Oh, it's because I keep hitting the button because my finger is slipping. That's what button it is. I keep just brushing the button. Sorry about that. Come on, here we go. Anyway, but yeah, no, it's again, it just all comes down to different taxonomies. Like, it is perfectly reasonable to call a whale a fish. It's a sea creature. If that's what you mean by fish, then cool, great. Yeah, I have no problem with that.
Hello, Mr. Moon.
Oh, greetings! Any luck removing some more of those demiguise statues?
Oh, you looked up environmental taxonomy and all I got was the EU and the UN. I might be using the wrong term. There is a term for it. I forget what it is.
I actually have some moons
Some
for you.
moons.
Oh, my mind feels lighter already knowing those statues are gone. I did promise to show you how to improve casting Alahamora once you'd brought me enough moons. Oh, with that knowledge, you'll be able to break open even stronger locks. However, we don't yet know who's behind these statues. Still plenty of the foul things lying in wait to torture me. Oh. If you bring me more moves,
There's also something roughly like physiological taxonomy, which is basically just defining things in terms of their physical similarities of appearance or behavior, that sort of thing. And that's the category by which things like
Revelio.
oh gosh, what are those things? What's that striped creature that isn't a zebra that you think is related to zebras, but is actually not? It's only related to giraffes. It's a African savanna creature. I forget what it's called. Yeah. So homology with the similarity of creatures, like all embryos looking the same, or roughly the same, or relevantly similar, that kind of thing. Yeah. Well, at least mammals, right? Mammalian embryos all have very, very close similarities. Okay, wait, quests. Okay, done with that one. Dragon, debrief. Alright, to the 3 broomsticks. Let's check our stuff. Oh boy, I'm gonna have to sell off some stuff when I get to Hogsmeade. No, first, I really ought to do some identifications. Now, I really like this one. I really like that one. The basket weave design. But it's absolutely not Soren, and it's absolutely not what I would use in anything approaching reality. Like, if I had to hold a wand handle... Ooh, actually, that's a good question. I actually might go with the arrow one. The arrow or one of the saber ones. I think that's... Yeah, I might go with that. That's actually really ergonomic. That's nice. Again, this is nice, but it's not very ergonomic. It's not the kind of thing I would want to hold for very long. I do actually like the arrow. Maybe the best, or maybe the saber. Probably this one, actually. That's nice. I might go with that. Oh, no. Oh, gosh. No, that has like basically a little trigger finger old mabob on there. That might be the best. Ergonomically, I kind of like that one best, honestly. For me, like in real life, if I were to actually have a wand that I would be using regularly, it'd probably be something like that. But for Soren, it's got to be this. Still got to be that. I'm tempted still by this one, by the Imperial one. It's way too purple, but it's nice. By this one, tempted by it, but no, it's got to be that. All right, to Hogsmeade. Let's go sell some things, too. Oops. Oh, my ankle. Ow. God, do you imagine how much that would hurt? Like skinning your knee on a broom. Oh. Oh, that feels unpleasant. Just thinking about that is just... Or, you know, running into stuff, man. Just, like, that's death. Or very close to death.
Does it get any more cozy than Hogsmeade?
Honestly, no. Especially not, like, in nice wintertime. With not fully rendered... Okay, there we go. But no, honestly, just like the nice, cozy wintertime village with everything being just ever so slightly crooked. It's just absolutely gorgeous. Can't get enough of that. I do need to sell some stuff, so I'm going to go back over here.
Take your time looking about. Plenty of wonderful books to stoke a curious mind like yours.
I wish I couldn't like sell. I wish I could like sell multiple things instead of having to hold down the button for literally every single item that I want to sell. It's really irritating. It's blue. I can sell it. Anything in here I need to buy? Really want to. Nah, it's fine. All right.
Let me know if there's anything else I can do to help.
I mean, if you could figure out what the heck the term was that I was thinking of, by all means, let me know.
Alfred Lawley's none too pleased.
Over here.
It's fine. I'll manage.
This is a change of pace from our last outing.
Don't remind me. The thought of that tent still makes my blood boil. I've been thinking about those poor dragons in the fighting ring. The collars they were wearing, they appeared to be goblin silver. I think a collar is precisely what we found at that poacher camp. I've never known poachers to use anything like that before.
The dragon that attacked my carriage was
Highly
wearing a
specialized
collar,
magic.
and Professor Fig was genuinely baffled by its behavior.
That attack always did strike me as a little strange, seemingly coming out of nowhere.
There's a cat
Surely
down
you
here.
aren't suggesting that the collars somehow control the poor creatures?
Exactly.
Merlin, I don't think the dragon we set free was wearing a collar, but we should check. And if we can find her, we can return her egg.
So, quick thing. I just got a new little cat tree, one of those big things for cats to claw. This, I guess, counts as a channel update. Because I'm thinking about if I can find a desk or shelf unit or something to go right behind me against that wall, I might use the top of it for a cat habitat. And then just sort of scoot my camera so I'm like at the edge of the frame, and then the cats can be over here when they show up, and I can, roughly speaking, be a cat cam, which really just increases the appeal of any of my streams because I can just add cats to the tags in the description. So YouTube algorithms, man, just pump those numbers up. I can actually crack 1,000 for once. Subscribers, that is, or viewers. I mean, if I crack 1,000 viewers, I'm happy with it. But gosh, I will say also. Okay. Another thing, another minor channel update. I'm getting closer and closer. I'm edging ever so more closely, whatever, 1,000 subscribers. I'm thinking about having a very special 1,000 subscriber celebratory video. It would be a very old project, one that has been sitting on the back burner for, I think, 15 years now. But it's one that I was very excited about at the time, and it has a great element of nostalgia to it, to me. So I may actually be able to actually put the finishing touches on this project that has been sitting around on my hard drives, various hard drives, just bouncing between hard drives at this point, for over a decade. And so if I can manage to get to 1,000 subscribers, I will think very hard and see if I can actually put this thing together. There's absolutely no chance that it will be monetized, and there's even a very good chance that it will be struck, at least in certain areas, just because at the time when I originally made this and did a lot of the editing for it, copyright protection was not as extreme on anything on the internet, and so I expected it to be perfectly fine when I made this in like 2008, 2009. But it uses some copyrighted music and things like that. But it should still be delightful for anybody who wants to see. So I'm thinking about that. I'm really thinking hard about this. It would take some time. It would take some editing. But if this is something you'd be interested in, and if you do want to help, like, share, subscribe, do all of those algorithm things to help me get to that 1,000, man. And also, if you'd like to see this very, very secret project that I'm alluding to, let me know. Synonym for homology? Yeah, I don't know. Again, I'm not familiar enough with modern biological science to say anything like this. Why are we going after a dragon again? This seems unwise.
Must we? It seems a lot of trouble to go to for a creature we've already rescued.
We should see this through. Let me find out where she is.
Okay.
There was something else that I wanted to discuss with you.
Okay.
I didn't want to press it before. It seems I may have caused you more trouble with Victor Rookwood. Why
goody.
after you?
You know what? She's already in trouble with Rookwood, so I guess we can share with her. That's fine. Someone's pretty practical about this sort of thing.
And Ranrock is after something I found at Gringotts. Fig had a portkey that led us there after the dragon attack. It's a bit of a long story, and Fig had asked that
basically
I not
just
speak yet.
told it.
Goodness. Well, that certainly helps to shed light on what we saw at the tent. Don't worry,
Yeah, not
I'll guard
really,
your
but okay.
secret as if it were my own. I shan't press for more details.
Oh,
In fact,
nice
I
of you.
should probably be going. I'd like to track that dragon down as soon as I can.
God, she is so tiny. Look
I'll
at this.
let you know when I have news of her location.
She's what, like 5'3", 5'2"? She's gotta be.
I hate to see a creature get put down like that. But trolls have no business in Hogsmeade.
It's true. Yeah, this is very true. Wildly dangerous. Ooh, wait, I just got a new upgraded version of Alohomora. I can go break into more houses. Or at least break into more rooms in the upstairs. Oh, not here. No. Up there, maybe? Where was the damn thing? Oh, this was level 1? I just did not pay attention. Silly me. I need to do more doofing around. There we go. Now, I'm also honestly a little disappointed that the increased difficulty of the various locks, the actual, like, the physical puzzle thing, the, like, rotating the tumbler things, it's identical. You rotate 2 tumblers using the controller joysticks. It's literally identical. The increased difficulty ones don't change it at all. There's no, like, multiple stages or moving targets or anything like that. It's just, yeah, you just do it, but you have to have the upgraded spell. So, yeah. I mean, it's fine. it's one of those mini games that is not actually hard, but I feel like if it were hard, the amount you do it, it would get kind of annoying. At least to some extent, you know? Alright, I actually have to do the main quest now, don't I? Oh,
Hello,
never mind.
Laura.
Another door. Aha! What was that? There it is. There. Alright.
Revelio.
What have we here? A box with some money in it. Thank you for the money, resident. This is a really interesting, like, loft structure. Ooh, 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 ooh. Hold on, that looks nice. That looks real nice. It wasn't a cloak. Ooh. Ooh, that does look cool, though. Ooh, I like the look of that. A little bit purple, but I like it. I like it. Tenebrous attire. Oh, that looks so good. Oh my god, does that look nice. Alright, hold on. Yeah, I might need to go with that. Not this. Where's it? Tenebrous attire. What do you think? Is that better? I still don't like the loosened bow tie. Sheriff Nottingham gathering the tax. Oh gosh, were you in Ew, no. I don't know, I still like the aristocratic ensemble. Maybe the best, but that's close. It's got short pants. It's a little weird. Now I'm gonna stick with aristocratic, just if only because it is green. Which is it's a nice Slytherin motif. I don't know. No, I'm going with that. I'm sticking with it for now. If I want to switch back at some point, I will, but for now, I'm sticking with it. Very nice. But yeah, gosh, I don't know. You guys are in Discord, right? I think you both are.
Hello,
I don't know if you've been following the conversation. Forget who you guys are or what names you correspond to in the Discord. If you're in there, but I don't know if you've been following the conversation that's been going on now for the better part of like 4 days in the religion channel. The question came up of what is the ethical status of tax evasion, and naturally, I said that typically, we have an ethical obligation to evade taxes when practical. This is, I thought, a relatively straightforward statement, a controversial one, but a relatively straightforward one. But boy, howdy, did that give rise to some controversies and some conflict. Most of the conflict coming from one of the stock characters of our Discord channel, with whom I have had this discussion countless times. But the dispute came down to essentially, we eventually wound up discussing not just taxation, but the liceity of taxation, but the liceity of the state per se. The state, and what we mean by the state. Let's put it that way too. Really, Corey, I thought you were. You know, I will say you should be in Discord. It is a nice community that has all manner of conversations like this. Hey, look, a cat. On a pretty regular basis, and boy, howdy, did it go nuts. But essentially, this gave rise to all sorts of disputes about the nature of the state and things like that, which is a fascinating topic for discussion and one that I have a lot of interest in from a sort of ethical and a metaphysical even perspective, given that the nature of the state is in some sense a metaphysical question, because I don't believe in the causal efficacy of secondary substances. Let me put it that way. And therefore, I don't believe in things like that authority can be vested in secondary substances short of a miracle. Right? I do think that authority can be vested in the church as a secondary substance.
Levioso.
Nope. Okay, never mind. But that's purely through direct divine intervention. And so that's a really weird limit case. Generally, though,
Defendo.
no.
Bombarda.
I love how the transfiguration spell has no
Confringo.
verbal component. That's weird. No name for the spell either.
Come.
It's just transfiguration. But whatever. If we're going by the spellcasting terminology from the books, it would be fours. But with a Latin prefix. Trying to remember what the examples are in the book. But it would be the Latin name for a noun followed by fours as a suffix, would be to transfigure an item into this object. So, for example, if I wanted to turn my wand into a sword, the incantation would be gladiphors, or something like that. Or gladiaphors, perhaps. Something along those lines. Now why? How will I know? I don't know how magic works. But it seems to. And it does seem to be vaguely Latin-based. So that seems to be the sort of pattern for it in the at least in the books. All right, let's go to the room of requirement and identify some of these things. Let's see what new quest do we. Oh, a new letter from the post. I have some promising news about the location of our Hebridean dragon friend and where to return her. You know what? I also want to make sure she is not burdened by one of those collars. Meet me in the town circle in Hogsmeade. Oh, so like right here. How many gear slots do I have? I have plenty. I can carry a bunch of crap. This is great. And we're good. Let's mark this quest. Let's do it. Poached egg. Clever. Very clever. Anyway though, it was a fascinating discussion. Again, having to do with issues like the nature of the state, which again is largely in our discussion came down to a terminological difference, where I was using the term state in the broadly speaking the Rothbardian sense to mean the regional monopoly on the initiation of coercion. Or the initiation of coercive violence, strictly speaking.
Aloha Mora.
And given that definition, the state winds up being intrinsically illegitimate because it sustains its own regional monopoly through coercive means, and those coercive means are determined to be legitimate unless those coercive means are non-initiative. In other words, if the violence involved is purely defensive in nature, or even defensive on behalf of another, something like that, then it immediately loses its own legitimacy. But this is actually this was a major point of contention. The question being that of whether a state or a government or any institution in general can lose its legitimacy and authority through acting contrary to its ideal end, which we can say is something like the common good, despite the very, very almost indefinably loose meaning of the term common good. Because again, I've said this before, I'll keep saying it again. I know a lot of Thomists, Aristotelians and Thomists and such, both personally and professionally, and the common good is a very common,
all roads lead to Hogsmeade.
very common Aristotelian and Thomistic term. But literally none of the scholars who I know personally or professionally can tell you precisely or consistently what it means. The common good is one of those notoriously vague terms that substitutes for damn near anything. Even in the writings of Aquinas, it is not clear what he consistently means by it. So that's a problem, but that's not a problem that we were really getting into. The problem we were getting into was to what degree must a state, in this case, act contrary to the common good to be illegitimated. And so we were both, several of us were citing Augustine on the matter, that his comparison of states to great robberies, states absent justice being equivalent to great robberies, right? Which, I mean, yeah, they're both essentially attempts to implement the commands of rulers by coercive power.
Revelio.
Right. So yeah, that is exactly the same thing. So straightforwardly speaking, taxation is theft, to use the cliche. Right. So, and we get this again. We get this straight from Augustine. It's a very uncontroversial reading of what he has to say in City of God. All that. So, this came down to questions like, how do you know if a state is illegitimate? And a lot of it came down to questions of the burden of proof. Right? Should we automatically presume that any given state with de facto rulership is legitimate, or should we not? And is the individual competent to determine that? And I mean, I think that of course you are. If a state, as part of its in its official capacity, that is distinguished from, say, that state actors acting privately, right? That's very distinct. So, for example, the U.S. government committing war crimes would be something that is doing it in its official capacity, which is contrary to the ends of justice. But members of the U.S. government going to Epstein Island to molest children, that would be an aberration. That wouldn't be something in its official capacity. It wouldn't be done qua state. And so that wouldn't necessarily illegitimate it, but it would illegitimate the authority of those particular individuals, not the institution as such, right? So, okay, distinction we can make. But in its official capacity, if it does act contrary to its ultimate ends, that being justice, then yeah, it is illegitimate as an institution. It has no particular authority. Because, and this is where I come in, where the philosophical hat comes on, authority is derived not from the consent of the governed or anything like that, but authority is derived from being correct. It is derived from alignment with, broadly speaking, reality, or we might say with the natural law, or we might say with the divine law, or whatever. Right? Legislation gains its legitimacy by not by coming up with commands, by making commands, but by instantiating natural law precepts. Right? And that's why we ought to obey them. Why we ought to obey authority, because authority is correct, insofar as authority is correct. Similarly, you think about this in academic terms. You would cite an authoritative source, not because it's an authoritative source, but because you think it's correct, because it is likely to be giving correct information. That's why you would rely on authority. Right? So, okay. The same would, of course, apply to the state, right? And so if the state is doing something wrong, then it has no authority, because it has abandoned that authority by acting unjustly. So, a couple of us were pointing out that basically no modern state has anything like legitimacy, because all of them, as part of their official functioning, act in some way gravely contrary to justice, and so therefore voluntarily contributing monetarily to that state, in other words, paying taxes when you don't have to, paying taxes when you could avoid them reasonably, represents formal cooperation with evil. Now, you can still pay taxes to avoid the auditor or to avoid the IRS. That's a different case, right? That is the case if that's the only reason that you're paying taxes is because if you didn't, they'd come after you. Fine, you are avoiding them through the best means you have available to you. Fair enough. But that's very different from paying taxes when you could perfectly well avoid them. That is, the analogy I used is that's essentially the same thing as voluntarily donating to Hamas. which again claims to be a legitimate state. It is a legitimate state by some international measures, by some international measurements. I mean, all things like this. But you shouldn't do that because of all the terrorism and the war crimes and stuff that you would be contributing to. Even if what you're donating to is, say, their human relief efforts, their humanitarian relief efforts, which Hamas does do, right? It is something they do, but it's very obviously not justificatory to all of their actions and all their behavior. So yes, donating to, say, Hamas is a horrible thing to do, just like donating to the US government is a horrible thing to do, despite the fact that they do some nice things once in a while. But they also do horrific war crimes and oppress people and all the kinds of nasty, terrible things that governments do. So again, I think that voluntarily paying taxes is, directly speaking, formal cooperation with evil, and it's not only contributing to the evil being done, it is helping to corrupt the souls of those who participate in these unjust activities. They're allowing, you're lending your means to them behaving unjustly. So you are helping not only to do the harms the state is doing, you are helping to corrupt the souls of the members of an agents of the state by helping to facilitate their unjust actions. It's the whole it's the enabling problem. You're enabling the drug addict by giving him drugs. That's essentially what is happening when you're voluntarily paying taxes to the state.
I didn't keep you waiting, did I?
I changed my clothes.
I was just at the post office.
Yeah, Corey.
Gran told me to
it was a good argument.
Package, but it looks as if she forgot to send it.
I did, of course.
She didn't send me an owl.
I had to cobble this together. If you do join in the Discord and you want to look back through this, you will find that my responses were a bit hodgepodge and jumbled because I started this conversation when I was dead tired. I think like Friday night or something. I don't remember even. I was dead tired, and I started responding in a state of might as well have been inebriation, just due to me being dead tired. I think it was Saturday night. And so I came back to it Sunday a little bit, and I kind of came back to the issue with a little more mental clarity, and so I kind of clarified some of the points that I was making before, which were, in my mind, just looking back over it, pretty sloppy. So it's not my best academic work, obviously. It was a Discord conversation, so it's not going to be perfect. I mean, it's not going to be scholarly. But, yeah, the path that the argument took, I'm very happy with, and I think that it was... I think that it generally went well, and we actually were able to breach some barriers and communicate with each other, which is really what you're after in that sort of conversation.
What was she sending you?
Only some feed she's been developing. I was going to give it to Professor Howen for the measles.
Simple and straightforward enough.
What kind of research is she doing?
It varies from week to week, but it's always to do with creatures. Last week she was studying leg knots in plimpies.
What did you find out about the dragon you were tracking?
I realized that she didn't know the poachers had her egg, so when she left Horntail Hall, she would have headed straight to her nest.
Makes sense.
I went back to the tent and tracked her flight.
How?
How do you track a dragon long after she's gone?
Tree canopies, burn marks, things like that.
Okay, all right. I guess if you got a broom, I guess you can do that sort of thing. Can't be easy, but okay. You can track a falcon on a cloudless day. She really is impressive, isn't she?
Well done. You certainly know what you're doing.
I can't be certain, but I have an idea.
Making a good
of
name for the
place
Hufflepuff
she may
house
have
she
been
is.
heading. I thought we might go and see it for ourselves.
Of course. Shall we leave now?
If that's all right. I want to see how she's faring if she had a collar on. And she's likely frantic about her egg.
Yeah, let's go. It's gonna fast travel us, right? Yeah, okay. We're not gonna walk from Hogsmeade.
Here we are.
Oh, good.
I do think this is where we'll find her. The terrain's typical of
I assume we
where
had
the
brooms
breed
to
would
get here.
nest. I suspect it's how the poachers found her to begin with. They likely camped here and logged her patterns. Perhaps
Are
they
you
left her
cold?
first and then her egg. Dragons are hard enough to wrangle, let alone maternal ones.
You got all of that from simply standing here?
You'd be surprised how easy it is to think like a poacher. Shall we see if she's home? We only
Interesting.
need to return her egg.
Is she actually shivering?
That sounds straightforward enough.
It sounded like
We
in
should
her
be
voice
in
at
and out.
least.
Then we can be finished with the poachers once and for all.
I don't suppose you've thought about keeping it, have you?
No, it belongs to her. Keeping it will make me just as bad as the poachers.
I don't know. We're not going to cook it, right? Anyway.
Well then, let's find our dragon and return her egg.
Wonderful. If she sees us flying about, she might take it as a sign of aggression or food. We should stay on foot.
Yeah, I don't want to be food. Let's not be food. Before we do anything, though, I am going to put a scarf on, because boy howdy, is it chilly out, huh? Not in reality yet. It is, although, I will say, it is supposed to get cooler the rest of this week. Which, man, I mean, yeah, it's Slytherin, but... Ooh, that might actually kind of work. Huh? It doesn't really. Ooh. That's nice. Oh, actually, yeah, no, that's about perfect. Can't see my bow tie, but it's all loose anyway. Oh, that's too shiny. Way too shiny. No, this one. Kind of like this one. No. Yeah, that'll do. Yeah, no, that's a good look. That's a good winter look. Yeah, I dig it. Wait, what did I miss? Oh, yeah, I got a new outfit. Oh, unidentified. Alrighty then. Let's go. 41 in Minnesota. Woo! Oh, that's nice. It's only like 68 right now. So it's nice enough to have the window open, but it's also nice enough to just sort of have my long sleeve t-shirt on and be pretty warm. Be decently warm. Yeah, I hear a dragon, alright.
There she is.
It's supposed to drop into the mid-40s later this week around Thanksgiving.
It looks as if she wasn't collared like the other dragons.
I'm pleased with that. Despite the fact that I live in and grew up in and have basically spent my entire life in Florida, I tend to greatly prefer the cold to the heat. If only because I'm just tired of the heat. And having... Hi there.
Must be worried sick, wondering what happened to her egg.
Potato!
Don't eat me, please. Oh, gosh. Or she's hungry. Could be she's hungry.
For what it's worth, she doesn't seem to have spotted us yet.
Let's hope it stays that way. At least until we've done what we came to do.
Depulso!
Woo!
I wonder how many they brought to capture.
Revelio.
At least 10 usually.
Yeah, I bet it must have been a lot if they're going after a dragon. Yeah, I've never actually cared for the heat very much. I've always preferred the cold, if nothing else, because you can always put on more layers. It's much easier to put on layers rather than take them off. And also, you can only take off so many layers before you either start going counterproductive or, you know, lewd. But, like, really, wearing a t-shirt is, in a lot of cases, cooler than not wearing a shirt, because not wearing a shirt, you get all drippy from sweat. Whereas if you wear a shirt, the sweat can actually do its job properly.
Revelio.
Anything in here? Anything else? No, doesn't look like it.
Reparo.
Fantastic.
Oh, balls. What was the bottom one? It was Cindia.
There she is again.
She's breathtaking.
She's breathmaking. She's breathing fire, in other words. And like I said, I've always really preferred cold to heat.
I wonder how good her eyesight is.
I mean, to be fair, though, I like everything else about Florida.
I don't imagine the poachers fed her well. And from a
That didn't work.
distance, we probably look exactly like sheep to her. Hebrideans love sheep.
Great.
How lucky for us.
Great. But yeah, I like everything else about Florida, so I will probably stick around But
What's your step?
if for no other reason than I've got a good deal of family here. More and more every few years, it seems, as some of my family from up north starts trickling down as they start disliking the cold.
She must have been starved to pick off a graphorn.
Whoa!
I'm just raring for a fight.
That's impressive. Graphorns are rare and quite big and daunting.
Quiet, what was that?
Here we go. Yeah. There's too much I like about Florida to leave, but I really do long for colder weather and for mountains. So, you know. But, you know, I suppose, like, visiting some...
There's no turning back now.
Visiting family up where there are both of those things. I mean, Erica has family up in Tennessee.
Follow when it's safe.
Yeah, it's not safe. It's never going to be safe. This is a porous ceiling. What in the world? Stupid frickin' 15-year-olds.
She'll make sure we know it.
Great.
Keep at it. We've just got to make it to the nest.
He's making it easy.
Not a warm welcome.
It's a little too warm, if you ask me.
Huh. See, no, Sora knows what's up. He knows what it's
I
about.
don't suppose she listened to reason.
I'd normally try, but we're well past that.
Forgot I could do that.
Get to that opening below her. If we can get to that entrance, we can get to the nest. Look! Underneath her! I think we're close.
Oh!
She's
Getting awfully
leaving.
close here.
Quickly!
Brilliant.
There's the nest. We're almost there.
But yeah, you know, going up to visit Tennessee one of these autumns would be just delightful. Always loved the Blue Ridge Mountains. It's been a while since I've actually gone through and gone across. But
Reparo.
but in the times I have gone through the Blue Ridge Mountains, never driven myself, but parents and family have driven through with me aboard.
Now, if we just return her egg, we can hopefully make it out without too much fuss.
Yeah, great. This is a really bad idea. That's way too close for comfort. Poppy, that is a wild animal. A very large, very dangerous wild animal. That's actually one of the things. So there's like competing draconic tropes in a lot of fantasy media. Between dragons as these massive
That was brilliant.
forces of
And did
destruction,
you see
wild
how
animals
clever?
more or less,
She left us perfectly
versus the
unharmed.
wise, intelligent dragon. Especially in Western media, you find this dichotomy quite commonly between dragons as animals and dragons as monstrous but intelligent creatures. It's the difference between these guys and Smaug, right, from Tolkien, right, from The Hobbit. Or you might say the difference between Smaug as depicted in some parts of the Peter Jackson films and in the books versus Smaug as depicted in the big chase scene near the end of The Desolation of Smaug in the Peter Jackson film. And that was not particularly wise and intelligent in terms of depiction, but she's about as nuts as Hagrid anthropomorphizing beasts. I mean, Hagrid was a Hufflepuff too, so yeah, I think this is a Hufflepuff trait. Dangerously anthropomorphizing beasts like this. I think this is a Hufflepuff thing. I mean, to be fair, I married a Hufflepuff and she kind of does it, so. I mean, I don't think she would go. I don't think she would try and pet a dragon. But it's possible, now that I think about it. Although, to be fair, I did train alligators for a few years, and they are cuddly little bastards. Very sharp and pointy, they can be quite violent, but so are cats, and I love cats. Alligators are basically just cats running different hardware, running dinosaur hardware. So yeah, no, I hung out with and cuddled with alligators for a few years of my life, so I get it, fine, fair enough. But there's still a very large difference between a juvenile alligator that's about that big. I mean, I can only lean back so far, but about 4 feet or so, which are most of the cuddly ones. I didn't cuddle with our big 6-footer, 6-7 footer. But the little ones, yeah, no, they're cute, they're happy, they're not fuzzy, but they act like they're fuzzy, if that makes any sense. But there's a big difference between that and a dragon.
That's rather generous, isn't it? She did try to kill us the entire time.
Only until she saw her egg, at which point I thought she rather warmed to us. The important thing is that we survived it, and we returned her egg.
Yeah,
Thank
okay,
you
fine,
for doing
fine.
this with me. Wouldn't blame
This was still a
you
really
one
bad idea.
bit if you wanted to head back to the castle and never think about dragons again.
Yeah, let's get out of here.
Shall we head back?
Let's go.
I'm ready if you are.
I am.
Let's go.
After our dragon rescue at Horntail Hall, I half expect to be ambushed by poachers any time I'm not in the castle.
Understandable. We did sabotage their fighting ring and steal a dragon egg from them.
True.
But again, I mean, I'm a
True.
very accomplished duelist.
So why haven't they come after us?
Or first-year
It's
15-year-old.
not like them to let things lie. Unless
What?
they haven't let things lie. Oh no, I can't believe I didn't see it. We need to leave. I need to send an owl.
Oh no, Grandma. That's the next quest. You want to try and help her grandma, I think? Something like that. The cat over there is not playing with her little new tree, which is down on the floor here.
How could I have been so blind?
She's sleeping on my other chair. My armchair. Poached egg. Okay then, let's settle some stuff.
I find myself scurrying home at night these days.
Come on in and have a look around.
Hello,
No touching
Augustus.
if you have sticky fingers.
Alright, let me just sell some of this stuff. I love the Tenebrous attire, it's so nice. I do need to identify a whole bunch of things now. Alright, anything in here that looks particularly nice? Ooh, what is this?
I'd say that looks as if it was made for.
Oh. No, I hate it, but... I mean, I hate it for Soren, but it's very cool. A little bit excessive, but...
I'd say that looks as if it was made for you.
No. Oh, it's got an owl on it. That's cute. A kilt. I can't actually see it with the cloak, but again, not for Soren at all.
I'd say that looks as if it was made for you.
Ceremonial mystic, nah. Nah, I'm good. I still got more Tenebrous attire, but I already have that in my collection. What's this? Tan riding attire.
I'd say that looks as if it was made
Oh,
for you.
that's very classy. Kind of dig it, but nah. Doesn't go with the cloak. That'll do.
I suspect you have a sharp eye for fashion. Be sure to stop by whenever you're about.
Like I said, like I keep saying, this game is like, I don't know, 30 to 40% fashion simulator. So, yeah. All right. It's all gobbledygook.
No offense, but it sounds like some fucking commie gobbledygook.
Anyway, there's that. Which, incidentally, I love that clip. I don't know if the sound played for you guys. It did not play into my headphones. Disappointing. Because I love me some Norm Macdonald. I just love the word gobbledygook. It has nothing to do with communism, really. Although, that's not true. That's not exactly true. Where am I supposed to meet with him? Where is he? Exactly. I should have looked. Speak with a meet where? Where do I meet him? Is he in Hogwarts? No. Oh, no, I gotta... No, he is in Hogwarts. But where? What, is he just right at the entrance? Alright, well, I can just fly there. Anyway. Yeah, no, I love the word gobbledygook.
Aloha,
And I also love Norm Macdonald. It says here in this history book that, luckily, the good guys have won every single time. What are the odds? God, that's so brilliant. He was an incredibly brilliant satirist. And, I mean, we lost him at first of all, at a time when we desperately needed brilliant satire. No? Where's the thing? I don't know. But we also there's another brilliant satirist, not honestly not to Norm standard,
Revelio.
but still unbelievably clever. Where is it? Oh, there it is. The Cauldron Shop. Got it. Trevor Moore. Trevor Moore, probably best known for the for Whitest Kids You Know, the sketch comedy series. He was also just absolutely hilarious and a brilliant satirist. And he died around the same time as Norm. 21, 22, something like that. Within the last couple of years. And it's really sad because I really appreciated both of them. The comedy was just absolutely brilliant. And a lot of their clever little insights were absolutely brilliant as well. Like the point you bring up about history, right? That history is not just written by the victors, but is written with the perspective of the victors in mind. That because of that, we're so likely to fall into this idea that because somebody won, so to speak, historically, that they are the good guys. We're way more likely to think of the victors as the good guys. Even when in a lot of cases we absolutely would know better and should know better. What is this? I want to get off here. Can I? Why can't I get off my room? Wherever this is. Can't dismount. That's dumb. That's dumb. How about here? No. Can't land on this roof either. This is dumb. Oh, that's because that's the headmaster's office, isn't it? That's for a quest later, isn't it? He's on top of the astronomy tower, isn't he? But yeah, it took a brilliant comedian like Norm Macdonald to notice, not to notice something like that, but to put it so cleverly that it's hard to deny it, you know? Because it genuinely becomes hard to deny things when they're stated that cleverly, that well. I can't dismount. What in the world? Come on, man. Fine. I have a new quest? What in the world? What new quest? Oh, Poacher's House Call? Yeah, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do a side quest. I will always do a side quest before I'll do the main quest. You gotta, you know? Gotta do side quests before main quests. She's outside on the grounds. So that's fine. What did I just get? A hat. Oh, right, the fedora. Yeah. Yeah, okay. So I can fly there. Once again, I can fly over there.
Remembered as the worst headmaster Hogwarts is. Wonder if they can hear us down here.
Skim the lake.
Oh, good, you're safe.
And you?
There you are. You were in such a state when you left.
The poachers got to my gran. Someone recognized me in Horntail Hall and they got to her.
What do you mean? Is she all right?
She's fine, thank goodness. But they were at her house, our house. They assumed I'd sent the egg there. She said they took the whole place apart looking for it, screaming that we'd cost them everything.
Well, I mean, that's good news, I suppose.
If your grand's all right and they didn't get the egg, then perhaps we're fine.
I should have
known. Maybe not.
I underestimated the poachers. And now another creature's in danger.
What do you mean?
The poachers refused to leave empty-handed, so they took valuable journals that Gran had discovered when she was researching rare creatures. One of them contained theories about a secret hiding place of the Snidget, long thought to be extinct.
So the Snidget was what they used in Quidditch before they came up with the little golden ball. It was very difficult to find, difficult to catch, little birdie. Well, we know why, because they're thought to be extinct. That's why they're rare. A Snidget, like I said, is the bird, and Soren would know all this. This is an important question, though.
Where exactly are these Snidgets allegedly hidden?
Gran says the journals were a bit cryptic, which is good.
That's good.
Perhaps the poachers won't be clever enough to find the birds.
Fingers crossed.
From what she recalls, the journals only noted that the key to finding them lay in the moonlight. Gran thinks it can be narrowed down to a handful of locations.
That's a stretch. That's not narrowing it down very much. That's most of the world.
I take it you aren't going to let the poachers anywhere near the Snidgets.
Gran wants me to stay out of it, but I know she's devastated that poachers might go after the Snidgets, if they still exist. We had the element of surprise on our side when we saved that dragon, but the poachers will be watching for us now.
We need allies. Others who hate the poachers enough to help us, who value creatures as much
Merlin's beard! You're a genius! The centaurs!
That's not what I was thinking, but okay.
Protected at all costs.
I was thinking more human allies, but I mean, okay, yeah.
Centaurs aren't known for being the friendliest lot, especially not with wizard kind, and not right now.
We'll need to be careful in how we approach them. Tensions with them are high. Still, I think they may be our only
You could say that again.
Let me think on it. I'll let you know as soon as I have a plan.
Okay, so we're just gonna think about it. We're not gonna actually do anything about it right now. I'm gonna go do a loop-de-loop under this cool bridge. Whee! And I'm gonna fly around for a minute or so, just to see if I get an owl from her all of a sudden. Swing by the owlery. I swing by, I mean literally just buzz it. See what's over here. That's a Merlin trial. I already did it.
Revelio.
Ah, there's a Merlin trial I haven't done. Why not? I'll go do that.
I know a Merlin trial when I see one.
Do a flip. You actually can't do flips. You can't actually do flips on the broom, which is... yeah. Because it only does Like it's a what's the how would you describe the specifics of the control scheme? I don't exactly know what you'd call it. It's very directional. It's not like it assumes a level plane. Let me put it that way. And I don't know if that's implied. That's meant to imply that that broom flying just in general assumes a level plane, or if that is just something for game mechanical control purposes. I'm not sure. Get over here. There we go.
Revelio. Merlin himself would be proud.
All right. What's that? Ooh, a maze. I think this is a maze. Isn't it? Okay. Few witches and wizards correctly trace the history of Scotland's indigenous mazes back to their rightful source. The 15th century dark wizard known as Eunan Blackwood. Born Eunan Wood to a non-magical branch of the Wood family, Eunan was misunderstood by his muggle parents and in an effort to fit in sought solace in the family trade, hedge trimming. He could allegedly control the blackthorn bushes with his wand, creating beautiful designs with ease. This both impressed and infuriated his rather intolerant family. Their resentment only worsened upon young Eunan's invitation to Hogwarts, where he was sorted into Hufflepuff House. Oh, wow, a dark wizard in Hufflepuff. That's interesting. It was at Hogwarts that Eunan first met one Artemisia Black. Disowned by the Black family for her mother's dalliance with Artemisia's muggle father, the half-blood Artemisia's relationship with blood purity was a complex one. She considered herself worthy of her mother's maiden name and blamed her father for her ostracization. At the same time, she did not fault Wood for his muggle parentage, but rather considered him an unwilling, innocent victim of muggle impurity. That is a really weird thing. Like, that's a very bizarre relationship. Oh. It's interesting that these are just mazes. There are no dangerous magical traps or anything in there. Like, it's very distinct from, say, like the Triwizard Tournament type of edge maze. Which is very much designed to be far, far more dangerous. Oh, maybe? No, dead end. Darn. No, darn. This way? Aha! Got it. Nice. Stop being a sheep. Yep. Yay, you're a ball. Get back here, sheep. Stop being a sheep real quick. Be another yarn ball. You want a sphinx to be in the hedge mages? Yeah, me too. That'd be awesome. Sphinxes are some of the really cool magical creatures, you know? A yarn ball. They do turn back after a little while, which is cool. I dig it. Alright, now what? There's a bunch more sheep too. Is the next step of the quest going to unlock, or am I going to have to go advance the gobbledygook one?
No offense, but it sounds like some fucking commie gobbledygook.
What is going on here? There. Jesus. I'm going to go to the room of requirement really quick because it's in the astronomy tower already. So I can identify all that stuff and take care of my beasties. Then I'll go and meet with Amit. Man, that's a lot of stuff. Kraken cloaks. Boy, howdy. All right, let's take care of our beasties. With Brushy, Edie. Where are my critters? Ah! You're eating. You're hungry. You're hungry. You're hungry. You're so cute and tiny. Oh my gosh. He's a baby fooper. All right, what else we got? Nope. 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 Come on. There we go. Nope. Nope. Mm. The targeting for this is just way off. Way off. Come back here. Come back here. Okay, cool. What else we got? Anybody else? No, that's... Although, what I should do is, now that I have a baby Fwooper, I should either breed more... I'm gonna see if it actually grows up, because I'm not actually sure if they grow up. And if so, or if either way, if I should just go ahead and sell them. Because you can sell magical beasts. Which is neat. Despite the fact that the whole like poaching thing is oh, the baby hippogriff, it's so cute. I mean, the whole poaching thing is basically about, like, not treating beasts like, you know, like commodities, but you can also, like, breed beasts and treat them like commodities, which is kind of cool. Honestly, I have no problem with it. Because practically speaking, captive breeding is one of the major ways to mitigate the harms of things like poaching. You need brushies. But yeah, private breeding is basically the way to eliminate some of the harms of poaching. Most of the harms of poaching, honestly. Hey, Derrickle. Need to pluck your feathers. Anybody I missed? Nah, we're good. But yeah, that is actually I wish that's something the game addressed more, right? Because the game does not address that point, like, at all. I wish it would. Because it's a really good point that a lot of people, especially the sort of, you know, the very feelsy environmentalist types, people like Poppy Sweeting, frankly, don't tend to consider that, broadly speaking, privatization is the primary solution to issues like poaching. And that also qualifies to not just privatization in terms of private, like, domestic breeding, but also privatization in terms of, like, not domestication. What's the term? Reserving, like reserves, like game preserves, that kind of thing. Private ownership of preserve lands, whether that is private, like in individual hands, or in organizational hands, whatever the case might be, it doesn't really matter. There are different incentive structures to each, and that does make some difference, to be fair. But in general, either can be perfectly effective in terms of protecting wild animals, particularly endangered wild animals. Captive breeding programs, or reserve programs, that sort of thing. Corey says, I see animals as property. I wouldn't do business with someone who is cruel to their animals or property. Yeah, I mean, exactly. That's a perfectly legitimate way of looking at the question. Let's make a baby Kneasel, because they're adorable. It's a kitten. The heckin' kitten. But yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, animals are, strictly speaking, property. Right? Whether that's under a legalistically, or if we're just talking about in sort of abstract philosophy of law kind of things. Either way, it doesn't matter. That I do think that is the proper framework to consider animals, particularly just because they are subrational. Wow, that's a huge difference. I mean, I need upgrades to it, but if I can get the upgrades, a nice hat, but definitely not very Soren. Go with the knight's helmet. Nah, I like the knight's helmet, but no. Stick with the bowler. Stick with the bowler. Nope. New cloaks. 96. This is the best one. I'm gonna have to switch out that ambush trait, because that's awful. It's a cool cloak, but it's not Soren. That's cool. I still really like this one, but it does not work with that outfit at all. That's nice, but it's kind of shabby. I would wear that. I would 100% wear that. But I'm not an aristocrat like Soren. Speaking of aristocracy. Oh, that's a little too much. A little too gauche. I'm still going with the noblesse one.
No offense,
oops,
but it's...
wrong thing. My bad. What'd you say? Are you not changing the image? You can wear any clothing and customize the look. Well, yeah, I know. I'm sticking with this look, more or less. That's a big increase. Very nice. Ooh, diamond debonair. I'm gonna switch it back to the. I'm gonna keep the. What is it? What was it? Tenebrous. That one. Yeah. There we go. I really like this look, but like I said, I've been upgrading my actual equipment. That does mean I have to actually upgrade the stat things with the magic loom thingy-mabobber. Wait. Let's go with... Okay, easy upgrade. Okay, got everything I need there. Oh, Graphorn. I don't need more Graphorn stuff. Damn. It's fine. It's fine. What does this have? Ancient Magic 1. Let's look at our level 3 traits. Unforgivable. Damage dealt to cursed targets. That's actually a deal. That's good. Damage from all damage spells. That's nice. Ambush 3. No. Ancient Magic meter fill rate. No. Damage from Ancient Magic. Nah. Imperial target does significantly increase damage. Actually, I kind of really like that. Yeah, let's go with it. Just for one of them. Okay, upgrade. Upgrade. Damn! Needed the Graphorn. Upgrade. Upgrade. Phoenix Feather. Darn. Okay, yeah. Nope. Phoenix Feather. Nope. Okay. Ancient Magic Throw. I use it enough. Trait. Concentration. Damage spells. Troll. Concentration. Concentration. Actually, no. I'm going to switch this to increase damage to cursed targets. Yeah. Yeah. That'll work. Alright. I'm all set. Still got my good look to me. Got all my stuff upgraded as best I can. I don't have a Graphorn yet. I don't have a Phoenix yet. Those are both quest targets. I'll get to it eventually. Let's go talk to Amit. Do the Gobbledygook quest. Which, I mean, like I said, I love that word. That word is just delightful. Like some fucking comic gobbledygook. Which again, I love that little clip, and it's so fitting to everything I've been talking about. Especially because as I've been saying, as I've said before, I think that you know, goblins in the wizarding world get, I think, an unjustified reputation for like embodying anti-Semitic tropes, because realistically they don't. They embody Marxist stereotypes and attitudes, which often get associated with Jews, both by anti-Semites and pro-Semites in some cases, at least leftist pro-Semites.
Hello there.
So again, I find that particularly prescient, particularly relevant, and particularly interesting. My cat opened my door.
Do I recall you saying that you speak gobbledygook?
I did. I mean,
Turbo.
I do. Speak it. Is this to do with the goblin I saw you with in Hogsmeade?
It is.
Yeah, kind of.
His name is Lodgok. We could use your help with something. He's waiting for me near a goblin mine. Would you be willing to help?
Oh boy.
Of course. How exciting. I mean, well, might this be dangerous?
I think he simply wants to show me
Nah.
something that involves gobbledygook.
We're not gonna, fight
If it helps,
hundreds of goblins.
Good to hear. Good to hear. If Serena trusts
We're not gonna
him,
fight
then
hundreds
I
of
feel
goblins or
much
anything.
better.
You said you know gobbledygook, but how well?
I've been reading it for as long as I've been reading English.
That's actually
My
really
parents
impressive.
have an extensive library.
That's really weird.
Once I grew bored with the classics, I devoured goblin writings. I'd tell you some titles, but you wouldn't understand them.
Can you tell me them in translation? Because that's something that most people who speak multiple languages can do. Like, come on. I can mostly read Latin, but that doesn't mean that I'm necessary. Wait, shit, no, this is actually true. I was about to say, that doesn't mean I'll necessarily give, like, titles of books in Latin, but that's not actually true. I often do that. I'll refer to texts by their Latin titles more often than I'll use the English titles. Damn. I mean, I talk about Thomas Aquinas' Summa Theologiae. I don't talk about his basic summary of theology. I talk about, for example, when I'm talking about Anselm's philosophical dialogues, I talk about De Casu Diaboli, not On the Fall of the Devil. Crap, oh my god. I never realized that. But, man, I must be annoying to my students.
Lodgok is waiting. Shall we go?
Of course. I just want to check the pronunciation of a couple of key terms first. So
Okay.
I will meet you there.
Okay, see you soon. It's all gobbledygook. Yeah, wow, I actually do use original language titles most of the time. Whoops. Yeah. No, I can't actually fault him for that. Oh boy. Got a little lost there. There we go. Away we go. I could fast travel, but meh. I like the castle. And I like flying. And stuff. There we go. There's the music kicking in. I was wondering where the ambient music went. Nope, can't fly from here for some ridiculous reason.
Revelio.
Oh, there's something way over that way, but too far for me to actually get to. All right. Front doors. Wait, is this something I can unlock or already have? No, I've already unlocked that.
Safe flying.
Away! All right. Nearly a mile to fly. Let's go. Now, I will also say that I have to assume that the measurements are technically in meters, but I treat them as yards because this is England, well, Britain. Come on, man. It's 1,400 yards away. Not 1,400 meters. Stupid. There's some kind of cave there. Next merchant I come across. Here we go. I should stop by. Oh, is that
Why don't you have a little peruse?
That's that little artist, isn't it? Yeah, I'm gonna sell all this stuff.
More than happy to purchase that. Good to have stock, I always say.
I have like 28,000 galleons. Yeah, I'm gonna get this.
There we are then. That'll do nicely.
I don't know if I'm actually gonna use it. Probably not.
Appreciate you stopping by.
I don't know if I actually like it, but let me check it out. Let me check it out. Ooh, actually. I kind of dig that. It's still between the Night Dancer and the Silver Arrow. Leonard Jukins. Yeah, I'm gonna go for it. That's really cool. I'm going for it. A new broom. With no practical benefits whatsoever. I actually kind of wish that different brooms did handle slightly differently or something like that, but what are you gonna do? Broom's a broom, really.
Revelio.
Anything of interest. Oh, there's an astronomy table. There's an astronomy table up there. Let's go do that since it's nighttime.
The castle must have been quite stately in its time.
Yeah. There we go. Capricornus. Ah, neat. Yeah.
Revelio.
Okay. Maybe we can do the ancient magic thing here. Right. If I can find where the damn source of it is. Where's the font? Is it up? That's outside.
Incendio.
Whoosh. Alright. It's gonna make me go through this whole thing, isn't it?
Bombarda.
There. Once again, this seems like one of those puzzles I can entirely bypass with a broom, so I'm going to go ahead and just do so. Here we go.
Knowing a meat, he's likely studied here.
Okay. There we go, there's 3.
Difficult.
All right, onward. Merlin trial, but I'll bother with that later. Now is not the time. No, now is not the time. Oh, wait.
Let's see what's up your sleeve this time, Merlin.
No, but I will. There we go. Oh, wait, no, balloons. Let's do balloons. Let's do balloons. This is quick. This is quick and easy. Let's do the balloons. This is nice and quick and simple. Really interesting mine area. Anyway, go over here and meet with Lodgok.
A friend who speaks gobbledygook is meeting us. Before he arrives, perhaps you could tell me why we're here?
Of course. Unfortunately, presenting Ranrock with the Helmet of Urtkot did not have the effect I'd hoped.
That's disappointing.
Because he knew the details surrounding its plunder, he presumed I'd had help from a witch or wizard in retrieving it.
Well, you did.
How else did he expect Goblinkind to get the helmet back? Seems he has no interest in making amends with you.
I'm afraid we do not have the luxury of rational expectation when it comes to Ranrock. Damn Bragbor and his blasted journals. Bragbor, an ancestor of Ranrock's, renowned metal worker. If we are to work together, I suppose I must tell you more. Not long ago,
right ahead.
Ranrock sent me to collect a recently unearthed set of Bragbor's journals. They described repositories that Bragbor had been commissioned to build for a group of witches and wizards.
What do you mean, repositories?
Large, magically fortified receptacles crafted from goblin metal.
I assume for the
recruited others to help me locate the repositories. We were to search anywhere that was connected to 5 names mentioned in the journals: Rackham, Fitzgerald, Bakar, Morganach, and Rookwood.
Rookwood Castle.
That is where we began our search.
Why does Ranrock care so much about these repositories?
He cares about what they contain.
Magic.
For centuries, wizards have refused to share their magical knowledge with goblins. Your kind will not even let us carry wands. Thus, many goblins, myself included, have spent our lives mistrusting wizard kind. Ranrock was convinced that the repositories contained a magical power that wizards wanted to keep for themselves. He is determined to take it for goblin kind. But
Here comes my friend Amit. Probably best to continue our conversation later.
Really? That's odd.
Greetings, Lord Doc.
Of course, it's wizards are going to get pissed when goblins get wand lore on the internet in 100+ years. That is true. That is a good point. Although, I don't know.
Enough. Please do not tell me that was meant to be gobbledygook.
Well, yes. Perhaps my pronunciation was a bit off.
Oh, my
I
boy.
imagine certain dialects differ.
Pronunciation is not the issue. I barely recognize that as language. I trust you can read gobbledygook better than you can speak it?
I can, Sir Lodgok.
Just Lodgok. Thankfully, we only need someone who can decipher written plans, since I cannot join you in the mine.
Yeah, I mean,
written plans. And why can't
presumably, Wizardkind is still going to keep distrusting, or mistrusting, sorry, Muggle technology like the internet, and so they won't just put wand lore on forums or something. But somebody probably will. Somebody's just going to violate the statute of secrecy. It's on the dark web somewhere. It's got to be.
Either by the
Magic internet browser. Yeah, I mean, why not?
Loitering loyalist.
Well, okay. So some of the reasons why Muggle technology doesn't get combined with magic in that way very often is because apparently when Muggle technology, the more sophisticated the technology and the more sophisticated the magic, the more often they will sort of overlap and create weird quirks. Like think about the car from Arthur Weasley's car, the flying car, right, from Prisoner of Azkaban. No. Chamber of Secrets. It basically just gains a kind of low-level sapience, or at least sentience, by Muggle technology being enchanted with magic. And so Muggle things that get enchanted with magic become wacky and unreliable really quickly and really easily. And so there is a sort of natural expectation that these things will wind up being separated. And so, magical internet connection, maybe that's possible, or maybe we come up with, an internet demon. Who knows? It's hard to say, because again, the Harry Potter stories only go through 1997, right? So the internet was in its infancy, even in the Muggle world in the late 90s. So it's hard to say what that interaction will wind up looking like, right now, which is 25 years down the line. It's an interesting. The possibilities are fascinating, I will say, certainly. All right, let's go.
Our meet and I can do this.
I will await your return.
All right.
I shall see you
soon. All right, Amit. Let's go. We're gonna have to fight some goblins, I'm pretty sure. Gonna have to do some gobbo fighting. I do not need more moonstone.
The door is looking at us.
Oh, I get it.
Yes, of course.
I'm just gonna stay disillusioned for now. But yeah, no, Corey, I like the idea. I really like the idea.
Prepare one for reality.
I've really always loved the concept of, particularly I would expect American wizards, would be far more prone to sort of integrating themselves with Muggle society and doing magical stuff.
Let's just learn what we can and get out.
Look at this lift.
Doing Muggle stuff with magic, doing magical stuff with Muggle and with integrated Muggle technology, stuff like that. Right? I do think that there's a place for that in the wizarding world of a kind of, while still being secret, right? Not just exposing the wizarding world to Muggle kind entirely.
I still can't believe
still, to some serious degree, integrating magical and Muggle stuff, if not the actual world interactions, Huh. Maybe a bag. Couple bags. I can't get up there, can I? No, I can't. Okay. It's not going to let me up there. Okay, that's fine.
Revelio.
I can live with that.
I've read about mines like this, but seeing one is something else altogether.
Or he says, I always thought that digital technology wouldn't be compatible or would repel magic, or like you said, they wouldn't meld together well. I assume so. I mean, that does make the most sense. Amit. You idiot. Come on. Get on the platform when I pull it over, please. My dude. My Ravenclaw dude. Let's get this together, shall you? Shall we? I get it, you're a Ravenclaw, that means you're wildly autistic, but still.
I've dealt with worse enemies than these. Accio. Incendio. Levioso.
Much too slow. Lose.
I don't need more Wiggenweld potions. That's good news.
That was a little more than I'm used to.
I'll get us through
I mean, that's the thing. Yes, I do think that there are these problems with combining magical and Muggle technology, for lack of a better sort of common term. But at the same time, I don't expect these would be problems that can't be overcome.
By being what? By a door.
Oops. It's this one.
I'm quite good at sneaking about. You'll see.
There we go.
Revelio.
Yeah, like I said, I don't expect these would be insurmountable problems, you know? If nothing else, because Muggles are incredibly innovative, right? Muggles are, because we don't have access to magic, our thing, by comparison, right, by contrast, is innovation. Roughly speaking, it is the no, okay. It is the development of clever ways of doing things. And what that means, like part of what that means, is clever ways of problem solving. And, you know, part of solving problems is solving problems very much like that. Where's Depulso? There it is.
Depulso.
Solving problems like, how do we integrate magic with technology? But I think, because I think we could probably figure it out, especially if we have, you know, Muggle scientists, some, perhaps, Muggle scientists who are let in on the secrets, working with wizards, which would probably be within families, that kind of thing. So a wizard and a Muggle intermarry, and so you have them able to work together to some degree, that kind of thing, right? I think there's potential there. There's potential for a really cool story there too. I get it, you're a Ravenclaw. That means you're wildly autistic, but get it together. I mean, look, I'm a Ravenclaw. I'm not one to speak. I'm not technically autistic, but I mean, kind of. I'm autistic in the colloquial and or pejorative sense, not necessarily in the clinical sense. Let's put it that way. Also, be slightly more serious than that. Growing up, right, as a kid, I absolutely had most of the symptoms of I had most of the symptoms, I guess you'd call it, of Asperger's syndrome.
That's the last on my list.
So,
Unfortunate, really.
yeah, I am.
I'd imagine most goblins to be fascinating to see gobbledygook.
I'm vaguely autistic, I guess.
The flourishes are extraordinary. Revelio. Let me know if you see any more plans or schematics. We can't return to Lodgok empty-headed.
Empty-headed? Oh, I guess because we're reading it. Okay, that makes sense, actually. It's over here. Ooh. A storeroom full of coins. Typical goblin stuff. But yeah. Like I said, I'm as far as I know, I'm not like clinically speaking autistic. But particularly growing up, I did have a lot of those sorts of tendencies.
Revelio.
And I certainly act in a way one might uncharitably describe as autistic. Then again, maybe that's just because I'm vaguely scholarly and I'm a philosopher by trade and by training. I've even kind of made an argument in a slightly tongue-in-cheek article that when most people use autistic as something like an insult, usually what they just mean by that is logical.
But what? There must be more notes around here. What could they be building?
No. What in the world?
I've been fighting since before you were born.
Protego.
I won't rest until you're dead.
Do you think this is funny?
I do.
Oh, this really is too much.
Stay close. I've handled much worse.
I do actually think that this is funny.
This place is more complex than I had expected.
Revelio.
But yeah, now like I said, I've written elsewhere in a semi tongue-in-cheek sort of way that that typically, and this is actually really common accusation for libertarians, which was the context for when I was writing this. Libertarians and philosophers, and I happen to be both, tend to get accused, let's say, of autism quite often. And usually what that means is something like favoring...
Another schematic. What are they going to build? This mine is
favoring reason to emotion, and or refusing to admit of exceptions to established principles. Right? So not making exceptions for stuff that we want to make exceptions for, simply because it is because it would be nice to have an exception. So, I mean, the reason why this applies to philosophers in general is because, again, obviously, we tend to think of things very carefully in terms of overall principles and applying those principles logically through to various conclusions, even when those conclusions are weird and counterintuitive. Right? We come to these conclusions very often, and it's also why, right, it makes sense to for example, for a philosopher to spend an inordinate amount of time considering what most people would think of as an easy question, like something like the problem of other minds. Right? Do other people really exist, or are we merely illusions of ourselves, or something like that? What's the nature of consciousness? These very basic level metaphysical questions, which come on, we should reasonably be able to just work on. We should reasonably be able to just sort of get through these kinds of questions relatively quickly, but really we don't. Right? We don't get through these questions really quickly. Who did I throw that at? Oh, there he is. Get over here. Got him, boss.
Loyalist. Unfortunate, really. I'd imagine most goblins to be brilliant and kind.
I mean, yeah, probably. Not Ranrock's lot, but yeah, probably. In general. But yeah, it's and on the other hand, right, libertarians tend to be considered autistic because we tend to overemphasize, perhaps, something like, to take the primary example, something like the non-aggression principle as absolute and inviolable, and then we just sort of ride that principle into the ground, or at least that's how a lot of ideological opponents see it. That there is this singular principle that we take to be absolutely immutable, which I think is actually correct. But the problem with that, as a lot of people see it, is that that we refuse to say that a principle only applies vaguely or in some situations. Instead, we insist on saying, no, in a principle, if it applies universally, and we absolutely will hold that principle as authoritative. Ow! Got me.
Incendio. Accio. Defendo. How nice of you to stop by. Descendo. Unforgivable. No!
Ow, he got me.
Best the likes of me.
Levioso. Incendio.
Don't do that again, I beg you. I could do this for hours. No! Such a nice try. Almost. Let's get this over with.
Levioso. Accio.
How many of them are there?
Oh gosh,
That should be the last of them.
that wasn't so bad. Forgot I have ancient magic charged. I can just zap one or two of them, or three of them, for that matter.
Accio.
Oh, that didn't work. I have to light it first, don't I? Okay. Where do I have to light it first? I do really love, you're right, I love the ancient magic stuff. It's so much fun. The throwing stuff, it's just delightful. It's very Jedi, you know, and I love telekinesis, just broadly speaking, as a power or as a bit of magic or whatever. I love telekinesis. Oh, okay, I need to go through here to light a brazier to activate an elevator. Okay, I got it. Yeah.
I'll be quiet.
Okay.
Incendio.
Okay, lit the brazier.
This is not good. They're building
Ooh.
enormous drills, bigger than this mine could contain. Revelio.
Very
Let's get out of
cool.
here and tell Lodgok what we found.
Very cool.
Accio.
Almost a bit of a cliched design with the big three wheel tooth nabobs. Very cool though. Very cool. Alright, up we go! Come on, Amit. I didn't leave you behind, did I? Okay, no, good. You can operate. I forgot.
To catch my breath. This was more than I bargained for.
I'm glad you came with me, Amit. Now
Alright.
that we know what they're up to, we can get out of here.
Revelio.
But again, I've argued before that actually, you know what? Let me write this down so I can actually link the article. I'll put it in the description after the stream, and then I'll also throw it in Discord. Which Corey, join our Discord. It's in the description. There's a link right down there. Go for it. It'll be great to have you. But basically, I argue that what often gets jokingly or otherwise, jokingly or insultingly referred to as autism, really just means wisdom. It is the careful application of logical principles to a wide array of cases and situations. So that's all that really it gets labeled as autistic style of thinking or something like that, which is not actually correct, accurate, or even realistically, it's not even appropriate, right? Because it is it's kind of misappropriation of a medical diagnosis to say something about to say something about a particular way of thinking that has nothing to do with the actual autism spectrum disorder. But really, it's just a way of it's typically a way of shutting down a particular way of thinking, which happens to be the kind of thinking that a lot of largely irrational people don't care for, mostly because they're largely irrational people.
We're almost out of here, Amit. Look, the lift.
Hey, this is where we came in.
Welcome sight indeed.
Let's get out of here. Let's go meet it back up with Lodgok. Wrap this up. Yeah, it's still got 40 minutes. All right. Honestly, we got a lot of questing done tonight. Probably more than I thought we would.
Can we please talk about what just happened?
Even while doing a bunch of side content too. Did a bunch of little side
bad,
puzzles and things.
It was. It really was. I'm afraid I've had enough adventure for one day. For a lifetime, perhaps.
Thank you, Amit.
Yeah, same though, really.
You. Now, if you don't mind, I'd like to have a word with Lodgok.
Understood. I'll leave you to it.
This kind of thing is for Gryffindors. This is not a Ravenclaw kind of activity.
Someday.
I mean, it's kind of. I guess it's kind of a. I guess Slytherin could do this if it's absolutely if it's really important and it's really going to help out with stuff and all that. But it's really going to advance my interests and all that. But man, this kind of questing stuff is just Gryffindor behavior.
Revelio.
What the heck is that? Oh, okay. Let's see. Let's just depulso it. Whoa! I think I just have to roll it down the hill, right? Yeah, it's just gonna go straight in, right? I hope. I might need to nudge it a little bit once it gets down there, but oh god, I have to return the quest. Damn it. Okay, well I guess I can't do this right now. Unless it's just going to go in and then it's just going to activate at some point. I get to laugh.
Revelio.
There's a possibility. Yeah, well. Maybe I'll do that later. That is not one of the Merlin trials that I actually like. That knock the ball into
They're building
the golf ones.
drills. We found their plans. Ranrock must be searching for the repositories.
I fear you are correct. Other than Rookwood Castle, however, I do not know where else he plans to search.
I've been wondering about something else you said before we entered the mine.
Yes?
If you share Ranrock's views, then why are you helping me?
I expected Rookwood Castle to be deserted when I arrived to begin my search. So was surprised to find a witch there who had set up a sort of improvised research site. She was studying something so intently that she almost didn't notice me. When she looked up, I thought she would react with fear or disdain. But instead she did something
the same
that I
problem,
will
Corey.
never
Yeah, I
forget.
figured. That's got to be a common thing, right?
Without a moment's hesitation, she smiled and asked me to sit with her. She told me that she was a researcher and showed me a small, oddly shaped container with a strange symbol on it. She was certain it was made of goblin metal, but was unable to open it. She wanted to work together.
Miriam.
Yes. But how did you...
Professor Fig's wife. He told me of her research, and I know of the container.
Ah. The reverence with which she talked of goblins and their intelligence and skill, it caught me entirely off guard. I'd never been treated with such respect by a witch or wizard. So, to my surprise, I let her study the container if she would allow me to search the castle on my own. We parted ways, with her promising to share what she'd learned. More of Ranrock's recruits arrived, and we began to dig, eventually locating the first repository. Ranrock was thrilled with our discovery, but furious when I told him about Miriam. Berated me for trusting a witch, and I heard she had been killed.
You think Ranrock murdered her?
I don't want to believe it, but I don't know.
That's
After
very
that,
fitting.
Something shifted in me. I had seen how the power from the repositories was transforming Ranrock, transforming all of them. I could no longer remain a part of it.
Thank you, Lord Gok, for telling me this.
He noticed
I
the
tell you
extremists
all
going
of
too
this
far, essentially.
So that you understand what is at stake. Ranrock never found all of Bragbor's journals. But the ones he did find suggest that Bragbor at some point built a repository far greater in size than the one beneath Rookwood Castle. What you've discovered here today worries me deeply. If Ranrock learns of the location of that repository, I fear we shall be destined for a great war. I will find out what Ranrock knows.
And of course, he needs to Ranrock.
For
That is
my
needs to set off a war in such a way that that it would radicalize witches and wizards against goblins. Right. This is a very, very typical act, a typical end, I guess I should say, of extremists, and particularly extremists who use terrorist tactics to radicalize their political enemies such that they will lead themselves, so to speak, into...
Professor Fitzgerald has confirmed what she needed to.
I
have to complete the next trial as soon as I can.
Where in the heck is the ball? It's gone. Did it respawn? Or something?
Accio.
I'm just going in here. Screw it. While I talk. So basically, Ranrock has to be planning something like He goes to extreme lengths, declares war on wizard kind on behalf of goblin kind in total. And so provokes wizard kind against goblins in total. What this effectively would have to do, at least according to his plans, if his plans are to go correctly, this would make wizards treat goblins in general as the enemy, rather than Ranrock's loyalists, the faction in particular, the ideological faction. And if that's the case, if that actually is accomplished, if he manages to radicalize wizards against goblins by radicalizing goblins against wizards, or by committing acts of terrorism that get blamed on the goblin race in general, then that means that he is effectively creating a bunch of extra allies for himself. He is manufacturing the allegiance of the rest of the goblins who otherwise would not have been on his side. Right? Because clearly not all goblins, to use the maybe tired turn of phrase, but clearly not all goblins are on the side of the loyalists currently. But if wizard kind were to lump all goblins together as their enemies, which is probably what would happen if a war were to spark, right? That would effectively mean that that goblins in general, oh, it is back here. Okay, that's weird. Goblins in general would have to unite against one another because they are all being considered enemies by wizards. This is a very, very common tactic of extremist terrorists. Take, for example... No, get back here. Oop. Take, for example, the present situation between Israel and Hamas. This is effectively what Hamas is to... Oh, no, come on. Get over there. This is effectively what Hamas was doing by attacking Israel on October 7th, right? This not, I don't know if unprovoked is quite the right term, but this unjustified, let's say, attack against civilians was meant to cause an extremist, we might even say overreaction on the part of Israel, and so to attract international allies to Hamas. And guess what? It seems to be working.
These Merlin trials won't get the best of me.
Because it is attracting support not just among the rest of the Muslim world, which is, I mean, that was the goal, right? That's the whole point. But even in the broadly secular and or Christian West. Hamas is getting a lot of support from Western places, from Western countries, and all that kind of thing. Which, I mean, would be surprising if you didn't know how these tactics worked, right? Because again, if you know how the tactics work, you know how these effects will play out, and what the point of these terrorist attacks and such are. You know that this is that basically the entire point. Ooh, that's a cool hat. I don't like it for Soren at all, but it's cool regardless. Oh no, sad Monica. Okay. Anyway. I think Monica woke up, and she woke up on the wrong side of the... My guess is couch. I don't know if you guys can hear that. Anyway. Right, I think that, again, looking at this... Ooh, new broom challenge. Thrilling news, next broom upgrade, come by splint witches. Absolutely. Let's do that immediately. Yeah, again, if you're familiar with these tactics and how these work, and how, acts of terrorism, what they are meant to do, you could predict all of this very straightforwardly, and you can know exactly what's being done, why it's being done. And again, that isn't, obviously, is not to justify the terrorist actions of Hamas, or to justify the war crimes committed in retaliation by the IDF. Both of those are heinous, right? Again, to different degrees. Certainly, the murders of committed by Hamas were to a greater degree than than the war crimes committed by Israel, at least in this case, right? In this particular specific case, certainly. But again, we should be able to recognize both problems. But again, we should be able to understand what is the ideology that is giving rise to these problems and is giving rise to these horrible decisions, these heinous actions. And because these actions are very, very predictable in a lot of senses, so we should recognize what's leading to all of this. And again, this game provides us with a fantastic example of the kind of thinking which will lead to this kind of heinous action. You know? What? Yeah, strictly speaking, but what the heck are you doing?
There's a voice coming from that well.
I noticed. That's weird.
Can you help me?
Yeah, you dry? You dried out?
Is someone down there?
No, you seem wet.
I beg your pardon. I'm here. There's no one here but me.
This is a little weird. I dig it, but very tropey. Very magical tropey.
This wretch casually tossed a bit of parchment into me and it caught.
Oh.
If you could please take it.
Yeah, sure. Oh, hey, look, it's a wait, what? Feather. So I cast Levioso on a tree in a ruin across a bridge by a windmill. I am so confused as to where this is supposed to be.
Some sort of map.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. What a relief.
Where?
I hope the map serves you well. At least better than it did me.
Where is this supposed to be? I don't want it to be tracking this stupid frickin' quest. Unless it's going to give me a location, which I don't think it is. Damn it, no it's not. This is so stupid. Hate this. Hate this kind of stuff. Basis for blackmail. Natty outside of Hogsmeade. No. Surprise meeting with Poppy. No, sky's the limit first. I got a couple more letters that I gotta read from Natty. Speak to Mr. Bickle's friends. I believe I can sneak away without drawing my mother's eye. Meet me near Hogsmeade, devise plan. How are you gonna sneak into Hogsmeade? Come on. Natty. Chill. Poppy. I think I know how and where to approach the centaurs about protecting Snidgets. We should move quickly, since the poachers have Grand's journals. We want to get a step ahead of them. Meet me in the Forbidden Forest. I'm sure it's called that for no particular reason. Well. Alright, do I have talent points? I have 1, but I want to save that 1 for the Avada Kedavra one, so I'm gonna, for when I get that, which will be in a while, but I'm gonna save at least 1 point for the Avada Kedavra thingy. Okay, let's go.
Revelio.
What's all this then? On we go. There's so many freaking Merlin trials. I will say a lot of the like overworld questy-mabobs in this game are very. There is no way you will 100% this game. I mean, you can, but my God, does it take a lot.
Pleased to see Aaron has his belongings back.
Hey,
There's something you need.
A broom. Sell some junk, and then I'll buy a broom. I want to buy brooms. Brooms are nice.
Thank you for your patronage.
Let's see. Is that broom?
Been a pleasure.
Do I like that broom better? Dice Scythe. Oh, I think that was the one I used in my last playthrough primarily, once I got it. Yeah, it is. See, that's really nice. And you know what? I am going to switch to it because green wants to look impressive when demonstrating their myriad skills. Also, that looks like a comfier seat than the silver arrow. I'm just saying. That looks like a real comfy seat. And I like the green. It's a nice Slytherin green. Yeah, let's go for it. Let's go. Let's heckin' go.
Hogsmeade, here I come.
All right. Go to Albie's place. Whoa! Sheep! Suddenly sheep. Excuse me, crowd. What's this? No, level 3. Okay. Oh, man, look at the Christmas trees. I think I'm a little sad. I'm a little disappointed, but I think I will probably be past Christmas time in terms of quests, in terms of quest layout, by the time we get to Christmas. And so by the time we get to Christmas in real life, I think Christmas time might be over in game, and that's sad and disappointing.
Price on the broom upgrade for you.
Heck yeah! What's this?
That item is of the highest quality.
House broom. Moon trimmer. That's the one with the bullseye lantern. Which, nah, none of those. I will get this though.
You'll be thrilled with that broom. I promise.
I have spent a lot of money.
Thanks for stopping
brooms.
by. Hope to see you're all set with the new upgrade. I can't wait to hear what you think.
What is going on with the lag?
This may sound
Uh-oh.
presumptuous, but
You'd like me to report back with even more flight details.
you know me well. I feel I'm almost there. I just think I can improve broom flight a bit more. Miss Ray's is running a time trial at the South Coast course.
Oh,
Not
jeez.
ideal, really. What with rumours
How is she
Randolph
getting
Lot
there?
and Ashwinders infiltrating
This is
the place.
insane.
However, if you're flying high above them, you should be all right. I think.
I mean, I guess. I mean, that's the thing is I actually know that, like, practically speaking, that no, that isn't how that works, and that quite literally and straightforwardly, you cannot just fly over the mine to get to the South Coast. You actually have to go through the mine in game, at least. Uh-oh, I have an issue. I got an issue here. Hold on. Please stand by. I might actually have to cut it out early if it's going to be this bad. It's getting a little bit wonky. Open widget. Open widget. Error. Poor stream status. I don't know why. I don't know why it's doing this. All right, whatever. I'm going to finish this conversation and hopefully it'll get back to normal. Give it a minute. They don't scare me.
I'm not worried, Mr. Weeks. I'll see if I can find
It's getting a little
another.
better.
I hope you are able to complete
Smoothing
these
out of it.
trials. I have a feeling this final
Okay, looks like we're
upgrade
getting
is going
back
to
into
be
normal.
a sweeping success.
Ah.
Do be careful, of course. I shall look forward to hearing from you soon.
Okay.
I look forward to our next meeting.
I don't know why it's conversations that cause this problem, but it sure is. It's bizarre. Let me try this. Double check again one more time. It looks fine. Error. There's still an error. Still getting poor status. If I do this a bunch, is it gonna be all wonkety? No, it looks fine. Looks fine. I'm sure it's fine. Alright, let's check the world map and see if I can actually get down there, or if I'm going to have to do some other quests first. I'm probably going to have to do some other quests first, honestly. Yeah, no, it's all the way down there, at the far southern edge of the map, and if I'm going to go through, I'm going to have to go through the Coast Cavern, which is its own little separate questy area, and there's an actual story quest involved with that, so I'm going to wait for this quest until after I'm done with that, which will be a little while. No, not well, not Daedalian Keys. Honestly, both of these are lengthy quests, if I remember right. Let's see about what the thing is with Natty. Because it's right nearby. Might also get me to level 34.
Perhaps
Let's see.
test out my new upgrade on the way.
Yeah. Also, I got a fourth magic meter, or ancient magic meter bar, which is nice.
Are you ready to put an end to Harlow?
Oh, are we actually doing this? All right, well, I guess so.
I'm
That'll be the
ready
last
to
thing
do
we have
what's
time
needed
for, but
to
let's
take
do it.
Harlow down. I know you have a plan.
We must gather information from the friends of Mr. Bickle. That's Archie and Mrs. Bickle mentioned.
Never mind, this is just a conversation
Agabus
quest.
Filbert, Otto Dibble, and Mr. and Mrs. Rabe.
All right.
I suggest that you speak with each of them while I head to the Hogshead. I saw some Ashwinders heading there.
Why would you do
and
that?
as my mother would never go near the Hogshead, she is less
Oh,
likely to
that
learn
actually
my
makes
activities
sense.
than if I were to wander the village questioning its residents.
Oh, man, that actually does make a lot of sense.
What sort of information am I trying to gather from these people?
They may know what evidence Mr. Bickle had against Harlow, or they may have evidence of their own. We simply need to know whatever they know.
Very well.
This was a
I'll speak with them,
relatively
see what
late
I can
game
learn.
quest, so I actually remember this decently well.
We need to know how they
Fairly
are being
clearly.
blackmailed by Rookwood and Harlow. Meet me here after you have spoken with them.
Okay.
Hopefully, by the time you return, I will be able to move a bit more freely.
All right, this is a talking to people quest, so yeah, well, I mean, we still should realistically only have time for this, honestly, because we have like less than 20 minutes left. But whatever. Whatever. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. All right, we need to go upstairs in the three broomsticks.
Mrs. Rabe should be nearby.
Yuppo.
Oh, Isco, what have I done?
Mrs. Rabe, I wondered if I might speak with you about Theophilus Harlow. I'm a friend of the Bickles and I'm trying to gather evidence against him.
Poor Joanna and little Archie. And now Harlow has taken my darling Isco.
What do you mean? Why?
I'm a security guard at Gringotts, and my husband is a curse breaker for them. Harlow approached me about helping him extort my colleagues into giving him treasures from the vaults.
And you declined?
Of course I declined. Repeatedly. I thought they'd given up, until I came home one night and found my husband gone, and a note affixed to my door with a knife. The note stated that I only had a few days to reconsider helping with some banking needs, and that my husband would appreciate it if I acted quickly. But the help Harlow wants is help that I cannot give, and my dearest Isco is paying the price.
Oof. Okay, so can we find him? I'd like to find him. That'd be ideal.
Why wouldn't Harlow extort your husband?
Isco's job is even more removed from the vaults than mine.
Really?
He travels the world for the bank. He could do nothing for Harlow. I'm the
Okay,
one in
I
the
guess that
bank
makes
on a
sense.
daily basis, which evidently makes me an enticing target for blackmail.
I guess that makes sense. Being a curse breaker, though, that's a big deal. That's a high security position. This is
Are
important.
you sure the note means that your husband was kidnapped?
What else
Yeah,
could it
obviously.
possibly mean? Besides, I came home to find that someone had trampled the daisies in our garden. It may sound silly, but those were Isco's pride and joy. He would never have let that happen.
Makes sense.
Thank you, Mrs. Rabe. Knowing the lengths that Harlow will go to is helpful, albeit more than disturbing.
Mr. Bickle was trying to help
What, we can't
us,
just... We can't
but
help?
now he's gone. I don't know what to do.
I shall do all I can to get evidence against Harlow, Mrs. Rabe.
Very well. Here's the note I received. You must be careful as well. Please don't put yourself in danger.
Okay, yeah, it's basically what she just said it
Some
was.
evidence worth hanging on to.
Yeah.
Thank you. I hope it's not too late.
Now,
I mean,
to find Mr.
should
Bickle's other
be.
two friends.
All right, let's keep on looking, shall we? Couple more people to chat with. No, it's not. Over there, huh?
Agabus Filbert must be around here somewhere.
Yeah, right here.
Hello there.
Excuse me, Mr. Filbert. I wondered if I might speak with you about your dealings with Theophilus Harlow. I hope to ease Mrs. Bickle's mind by gathering evidence against him.
Oh, tragic what happened to Bickle. He wanted me to speak out against Harlow for an act of violence committed against me. But I
Would you like to?
feared Harlow's retaliation. And so I refused.
Well, how about now?
If you had spoken out against him, as Mr. Bickle asked, perhaps Harlow would be locked away by now.
Perhaps,
yeah, how about now?
But perhaps I would have suffered a similar fate.
You said that
Maybe.
Harlow committed an act of violence against you. Could you tell me what happened?
Before my extraordinary wife, Dulcibella, passed away, she had just completed a small book of poetry. As a surprise for her birthday, one she never had the chance to celebrate, I had the book beautifully bound and plated in gold. One day, Harlow came calling to punish me for having spoken out against the Neanderthals that comprise Rookwood's lot. Before I knew it, I'd been petrified, and Harlow was rifling through my home. He found the book of poetry.
That's an unbelievably strong bit of magic.
Plating. I watched helplessly, lying there in my entranceway as he walked away with the book, laughing as he went. I was shaken to my core. Still am, to be honest.
I imagine you fear Harlow retaliating again, but do you mind if I share this information with Officer Singer?
I suppose I have no choice. This extortion can't go on forever. You can pass it on to anyone who may be willing to help.
I don't know if Officer Singer is going to be willing to help after
Harlow does not like people
all of the
talking,
problems we've been causing, but maybe.
We're
There's
on
hope,
the
I
right
suppose.
Now to
Just
find
a
the
little
last
hope.
of Mr. Bickle's friends.
Okay. So this... Whoa. Nope, level 3. Never mind. Which I will get to eventually. I'm sure we'll eventually unlock
Works at Gladrax.
level
I should
3
check there.
of Alohomora. A cat. Always pet a cat when you run across one in the street. It's one of Jordan Peterson's, like, what is it, 12 rules for life? It's a good rule, really. A good one. Excuse me, I need to get into your back room real quick to speak to an employee. That's not even a back room, that's just backyard. Never mind.
It's been here all...
Mr. Dibble, may I speak with you? It's about Theophilus Harlow.
I've nothing to say about him. May I interest you in a stunning cravat today?
Please,
Well,
sir,
yes,
I'd
but
like to
not
help.
at the moment.
I spoke to Mrs. Bickle.
You know the Bickles? All right. But we must be discreet. Can't have Mr. Hill hearing this.
I know Mr. Hill. He was kind to me the day of the troll attack.
Oh, he's a good man. But even he wouldn't understand about Harlow. It started a few weeks ago. I was distracted, reading a note, when you-know-who came into the shop. I hid the note behind the counter and offered to help him. He stared at me for a moment, then asked me to check on an order he'd placed. I went into the storeroom to check on what turned out to be a non-existent order. When I returned, he was holding the note.
Very
What was
clever.
in the note?
It was a note from Rosie Hill, Mr. Hill's daughter. You see,
Oh,
secretly engaged these past 6 months.
I see.
We haven't told
It's-
Mr. Hill yet. I dare say he has higher hopes for her. Harlow advised me in no uncertain terms that my relationship with Rosie, not to mention my employment here, depended upon my cooperation.
What cooperation did he need?
It all happened
well, there we
so
go.
quickly. In an instant, he took a very expensive scarf from the counter, pocketed it, and smiled. He said, "Your secret is safe as long as I can supply my lady friend with delightful items like this every so often."
Okay, so it's not actually part of a
I've been
conspiracy.
able
It's
to
literally he
fulfill
just
his
wants to rob
requests
people.
Until now with some creative bookkeeping, but I can't keep it out for much longer. I'm terrified to say anything. I could never live without Rosie.
Just get married. Just get married. He can't stop you then.
I met Mr. Hill the day of the troll attack. He was kind to me. Why don't you just tell him?
He's a lovely man, but when it comes to Rosie, I fear he loses all
That does make sense.
perspective. He'd see this as a grave betrayal. I'd lose my job instantly, and Rosie as well.
Could you give me a bit more detail about the note? That might help me to identify it should I come across it.
It's on Rosie's special pink stationery. It has her monogram at the top, RH. That's how Mr. Hill would know it was real.
Okay.
Thank you for telling me. I'm gathering evidence to take Harlow down.
I would love nothing more than to see him rotting in Azkaban, but be careful. He's an awful man and incredibly dangerous. As for Rosie's letter, should you happen upon it, I have committed it to memory. You may destroy it immediately.
Understood.
Yeah, but I might need it as evidence.
Hurry off before Mr. Hill returns.
I mean, unless you're planning on just testifying.
Mr. Bickle's friends. Now to find Natty.
She's going to be at the Hog's Head, right? I love the little magic whoosh thing. Wait, she's not at the Hog's Head. She's right where I left her. What is this? Why are you not at the Hog's Head, Natty? You said you were going there.
It's not like Natty to be late. She said she was going to the Hog's Head. Perhaps I'll find her there.
Yep. Okay. See, I figured I would just meet her there. That did seem like the reasonable thing anyway. Oh, jeez. Don't want to be in the freezing river. I know it has no effect on gameplay, but still, I don't want to be in the freezing river.
He must be around here somewhere.
Yeah, I agree. Let's go in here first and see if she's in there. And if not, maybe there's some treasure. Like I said, I'm going to finish this quest, and then I'll probably call it a night, because it'll be around midnight. That said, I do not. It is Thanksgiving weekend, so I don't exactly have class tomorrow. Given that I don't have class tomorrow, that does mean that if I don't have to cut out early, and if I go slightly past midnight, making sure I get all this done, it's not the end of the world. I do not have to be up at 8 tomorrow. 7:30. Realistically, it's more like 7:30. Like I so often do. Anyway, what in the world? Natty's wand. That's not good.
She can cast without it. She wanted me to find this. She's in trouble. Revelio will show me where she was taken.
Will it really? Man, that's a handy spell. That's nuts on the way out.
Get what's coming to them.
Revelio.
Where? There we go.
Natty must have been taken this way. I need to find
What, a
her
basement?
quickly.
Just into the basement of the Hog's Head? Really? That's where the Ashwinder's hideout is? No one found this? No one wandered into the cellar?
There must be another way forward. Accio! A hidden door.
Aha! A cell! Neato burrito. Let's go.
Natty must have been taken this way. I need to find her quickly.
This looks like another one of those tents. One of those, like, bigger on the inside tents.
I'd better be sure I'm not seen.
No, I'm just gonna, like, wreck everyone.
It's not gonna work. Using that girl as bait. That one's coming for her. We ought to just kill her. Only a Hogwarts student would be arrogant enough to come in here.
Imperium.
Expulso!
Crucial.
Potato! You'll peter out soon enough.
Now, become personal.
I won't go down as easy.
You're no match for me.
Accio! Incendio.
Novice. No more happy days.
Defendo.
Nicely done. Oh, it's a weaken one potion. Okay. More potions!
Hey,
Hey! Who's there? Honestly, I mean, the Cockney accents are very thematic. It's absolutely appropriate. It's also... The Cockney accent is basically just the... It's exactly the London version of Brooklyn.
Accio.
Absolutely the London version of Brooklyn. Or I guess the London version of Boston, sort of. Sort of Boston. Or Brooklyn, though, really. Seems more Brooklyn than Boston. Yeah, TARDIS tent. Exactly. I love it. I really like the TARDIS tent. It's a neat little concept. It's a very neat concept. Now, what's all this then? Ah, here it is. The letter.
Tibble's love letter from Rosie. He wanted me to destroy this if I found it.
Can I?
Revelio.
Can I just destroy it? That's a real open question. Oh wait, I got that already. Huh. Augury... What is this? Is it crap? You don't understand what's going on there. Oh, that's the book. Okay, the poetry book.
Have this back.
Got it. That's the poetry book. All right, cool.
Revelio.
What's that? Oh, no, that's another potion. I don't need it. Back here. Ooh, a tree. Tree spellcraft. An item that I'm going to sell. Let's see. I can go through this little tunnel over here. There's more Ashwinders up there, but not yet. Not gonna deal with them yet.
Revelio.
Deal with whatever's in here first, which is nothing, seems like. Oh, just another way through. Okay.
We should speak to her again. Perhaps she'll tell us where we can find that friend of ours. Expulsion!
Stupid one. Defender.
Nice. Cut you in half!
Revelio.
Alright, what else we got? Nothing here? Nothing here. Let's go. Now this is just down. Alright, now let's keep moving. Keep moving on. Through the TARDIS tent.
Natty must be here somewhere.
Yeah, right?
You found us. I knew you would realize I had left my wand for you.
Over here. I need your help.
What, you can't Alohomora your way out? I thought you could do that without a wand.
Revelio.
Ooh. Interesting. That was cool. An invisible chest. That was neat. Almost didn't notice it.
Revelio.
Oh, Isco's wand. Okay. Here he is. Hey there, Isco.
Mr. Rabe, Daisy told me you'd been abducted.
You spoke with my wife. How is she?
Worried about you. Are you all right?
I am all right. Thank you for coming. These locks are cursed, and there's an anti-apparition jinx on the cells. Even Natty's skill with wandless magic cannot free us. I need you to find my wand.
Mr. Rabe, I found
this one? Here you go.
Well done. I knew it was nearby. Now, you best stand
Oh
up.
my gosh. That was
One
very
never
straightforward.
knows how a curse will react to being broken.
Yeah, I'm gonna back the heck off here. I assume it's going to be completely fine and no one's gonna really mind too much, but, you know, whatever. I light the fireplace? I cannot. I cannot.
Revelio.
Got my Karat too. Nice. The curse did nothing. Here, Natty, your wand. Natty, your wand.
Thank you, Mr. Isco.
Your wand, Natty.
My pleasure. And thank you, my friend. We owe our lives to your bravery.
I mean, he is a professional curse breaker. That is actually a really hard person to lock up.
You both, but I can try.
You go ahead. Find Officer Singer. We will get out of here on our own.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Very well. But be careful. Thank you, my young friends.
Be prepared for a fight. These Ashwinders must pay.
Do you want your wand? Natty, would you like your wand back? I know that, like, you can do without it, but still, do you want it? I assume the answer is no, for some reason. I also assumed there would be more Ashwinders. But I suppose not. We can just leave. Ooh, shield mabob. Anyway. I guess not. I already took care of him. Nicely done. Good job,
find
me.
Officer Singer and put an end to Harlow.
Get out of here. Now, I know it is also past midnight, so I'm going to wrap it up here. Once I'm done with this quest, I'm wrapping it for tonight. There is one last major thing, which is the actual duel with Harlow. You do actually have to beat him.
I should have known. And you, the troll dispatcher.
That's me.
Oh, thank goodness the two of you are safe.
Yep-o. Everything's fine, don't worry.
Rabe told me a couple of students had rescued him. Should have known it was you two.
Is Mr. Rabe all right?
He is. I sent him home to his wife. Miss Onai, your mother will not be pleased to learn that you're still risking your safety pursuing these dangerous men.
Actually, Officer Singer, Natty and I learned of several Hogsmeade residents who've had their lives threatened by the
It's not the way of approaching this. It's more like, oh no, they grabbed her or something.
To blackmail his wife and Natty, Rookwood and Harlow have also extorted Agabus Filbert and Otto Dibble.
I will look into all of that.
Yeah, Corey, the constable's absolutely useless, like every authority figure in the Harry Potter world.
Great risk.
Not authority figure, sorry, every ministry official. There we go. Every ministry official represented in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter is absolutely, completely useless. Hogwarts professors are depicted as generally quite competent, but that's it. One of the major themes of the entire Harry Potter franchise is that you should not ever trust the government to do anything right. And I love that lesson. I just wish more millennials who obsessed over Harry Potter had actually learned it and taken it seriously. Well, what are you going to do? Now they all hate it. So now they all hate Harry Potter because J.K. Rowling is a normal feminist? I don't know. Is it a feminist from 10 years ago? I don't know. Whatever. I'm still going to directly make fun of them because Soren is used to disparaging common officials.
With all due respect, officer, the authorities haven't done much about any of this.
It's true, though.
To taking down an organization like the Ashwinders than simply storming in and hauling them off based on a few accusations.
No, I just killed like 20 of them.
We shall have no further discussion on this.
I mean, I did just straight up kill like 20 of them.
Speak with your mother about this before I do.
My mother will not like this.
Yeah, that's true.
Thank you again
You're right.
for rescuing me.
Absolutely
we shall
right.
Speak soon.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's all I got. That's all for that quest. And I leveled up. I'm gonna use one of these talent points because I got 2 sitting around, plus some other stuff while I outro. Harry says, and then Harry, Ron, and Hermione joined the Ministry after seeing some of the worst of it. Yeah, I mean, maybe it was that perhaps delusional idea of well, I know what's wrong with it, so maybe I can do better, or maybe I can improve it from the inside, that sort of thing. Maybe it's that. Maybe it's that kind of impulse, which is, I mean, a justified, if perhaps a bit naive impulse, right? Seeing the major flaws in a system, and so therefore wanting to improve it from within. I understand that, right? That's certainly an appealing sort of idea. Even if, like I said, it might be a bit naive, right? But then again, I have to assume, I have no option but to assume, that Harry, Ron, and Hermione, etc., are going to grow up to be somehow more competent than most of the Aurors in the Ministry, and most of the officials in general within the Ministry. So, I don't know. Maybe. We're going to do Poppy's thing next time. Dealing with centaurs. I have 2 talent points, one of which I'm saving for the Avada Kedavra. Maybe I should get the Defindo thing. That's actually pretty nice. Any of these particularly useful? No, I'll get the Defindo thing. That's pretty nice. It just kind of curves and does a cool thing. Yeah, that'll do. Let's do that. All right. Anyway, that is all the time I got. It's past midnight, so we'll pick this up next time. I will see you then. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you all once more for joining me. If you'd like to help me continue doing what I do, feel free to donate right down there at ko-fi.com/ProfessorMcCoy. I mentioned earlier on that I did just have to get a new chair. That set me back a little bit. So anything that you can contribute to help sort of offset that cost, I will greatly appreciate. I thank you so much. If you haven't yet, join the Discord, subscribe to the channel, all those wonderful things. I hope to see all of you next time. And remember, don't be safe, be well. And more importantly, be good. Good night, everybody.